I've clicked the button.
Don't click the button.
Too late!
There it is.
It's too
Also,
late.
my computer sounds like it's about to skyrocket off into space. I'm sorry if you can hear it.
Yeah,
No,
mine too.
can't hear it.
Okay,
I
cool.
can.
Good.
Cannot hear it. There we go. Alrighty. Pop at El Chato. And, okay, so before we start the session, as I usually do you guys have any questions or concerns or anything you want to ask me outside of the game beforehand?
Nope, I think I'm good.
Not
Okay.
high.
Not I.
I don't really have a question, but I hope
Okay.
you had a really great week.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone else, I hope your week sucked.
The rest of you. The rest of you.
Kinda.
Okay,
I'm just...
No, I did have a good week. I actually did.
Good.
Yeah, it was a solid week. It was out of all the weeks in my life, it was a solid 8 out of 10. It was good.
Good.
Fantastic.
I'm glad you have a measurement all prepared.
Sure. Sure, basic
top
10
10
scale.
days.
I reflect every Sunday evening on the past week how things went, and 8. This was an 8.
God,
Oh,
especially
boy.
Bert, if you're hoping we all had a horrible week, especially since it was Thanksgiving, that's just
Oh yeah.
I hope you're thankful for
Thanks.
failure.
All right. So, all right. So let's get started. So when we last left off, we finished on some of the excursions that you guys had picking around the scrap yard of just outside New Laszlo along the strip there, and Al was checking out the messages on the board. So let's get started with that. So first and foremost, let me scroll to them. There we go. All right. So you may or may not have remembered this message that was on the board, but it is actually still there on red paper, big black bold letters. Join Reed's Rangers and fight the vampire threat. A hastily written bold sign screams out. There's an attached note that all inquiries can be answered by a Cedrozeo currently staying at the Elegant Horse Saloon. However, a new message is written on top of that one in black marker and bold, sloppy lettering that says, "Vampires can suck more than just my blood." There's another message that reads, that's as you peruse, Al, you notice another message that reads, 6 months left to live. Need redemption. If you know of lives that need saving, ask for Orabel Rodriguez, dishonored priest, room 5 or at the bar. Another message. Someone cure my bad breath. Seriously, I've had doctors, healers, alchemists, and priests brew me up so-called solutions, and my breath still smells like bat feces. You can find me at Burton Tower Research Center. Ask for Hort Thorncrop. I'll come down to see you. In all capital letters, serious inquiries only. At the bottom of this message is another tacked on just underneath in the same handwriting. Still looking. Also, no, I won't give you a monetary advance. Not anymore. Not after last time. There are other messages looking to meet up or recruitment for mercenary groups, for advertisements, for a variety of sundries, for a variety of hotels, motels, places to stay. Then your eye catches something. It catches a line in a soft flowing hand. A long time ago, a long time away. And Al, I may ask you as GM to player,
sure.
you told me that many times Al told stories to Jalea. That was one of the things he did with her growing up. Is that correct?
It was almost every night without fail. He would tell her stories.
And almost every night without fail, You started every story with a long time ago, a long time away. The message continues. A long time ago, a long time away, a brother was looking for a place to stay. He meets a maiden far from home, a rose in her hair to call her own. This at last, a proper sign, a companion's hearth to wine and dine. Now I'm going to copy and paste this message to the chat because how it is written is extremely important. Because there's a few things that you know just growing up. First, you recognize the writing. It's either that of Jalea or someone who writes just like her.
Okay.
Also, you know that sometimes when you told these stories to each other, you telling them to her, as you were teaching her to write, sometimes, especially when you're younger, you would encode little messages in there, something that your parents wouldn't know, but you two would know. And the rules to this game is simple. If you match the second words in each line after the first one, a long time ago, a long time away, you get a new sentence. You also notice, grammatically speaking, the S is put away from the meat conspicuously, and the C and the H on companion's hearth are unnecessarily capitalized.
I see. Okay. I'm thinking for a second. I guess it would be would it be safe to say their handwriting would be very distinct, considering the only way she can write is through another's eyes, so to speak?
Yep. More specifically through the actions of a certain helper tool.
So then he would look at this. He'd probably take it off the billboard and study it. And then come up with brother meet rose at companion's hearth.
All right.
Ellie would take off the bat feces poster. Look at the others and say, "Oh, guys, we got to go check this out."
I mean, if you want, sure.
Patrick,
I mean,
actually
you're a
looks the
doctor.
most interested into that particular poster out of all of them.
Right? I gotta smell this guy's breath.
Oh.
Poor guy.
But he did say serious consideration. We might want to try to help him.
Yeah, I mean, we got Al. Ellie will motion over to him. He can, do stuff, right? You got, not magic. Wait, you do have magic. Don't you have magic? Or, skill, doctor-y type things? And her eyes start converging together.
Al, looks up from the note. What? What?
Guy, bat poop, breath guy, look. What's your deal?
What's with the guy with the bad breath, right?
Yeah, he needs our help. We help people. And also, I'm really curious to smell this breath.
Al, looks at it and goes, "Oh, sure. Why not?" And he goes back to reading the note he has in his hands.
Ellie's expression kind of, her face sort of scrunches together, what's his deal? But she doesn't say anything. She looks over at the group, at Tom, and Patrick gives them a thumbs up.
Patrick gave a hearty thumbs up.
Al would say, kind of softly as he's reading the letter, "It's from Jalea."
From what?
My sister. This note. It's from my sister.
Why would she leave a note?
For me.
Why
she
would
wants me to meet Rose. Someone, I'm assuming it's the companion with the rose tattoo on their neck, but at a place called Companion's Hearth.
Ellie will poke around and read the, I can read, right? Yes, I can.
Yes, yeah.
That That'd be embarrassing if I couldn't.
Well, a
So,
serious
at the
question in this world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
extremely serious. Actually, for the first session, Tom couldn't read until
That's
Byrne
right.
realized that literacy was important, and we
Yeah,
refinagled that.
I didn't know that it was a skill, and
Yeah. Out of curiosity, I'm sure I
Mhm.
can. I seem to recall picking it, but yep. Okay, never mind. I can. That'd be funny if I couldn't. So she'll poke her head over and
Mhm.
read the letter. She will kind of like rest her head on Al's shoulder and read it again, and you can feel her face, and maybe without even looking at her, you could sense that her eyes are converging as she's trying to decipher the meaning behind the letter and how you got what you got from it.
Al would, I guess when he put her head on his shoulder, he would
Fucking
look and
eyes.
say- he would say, "We used to play a game when I was teaching her to write. The second letter in every sentence spells a new sentence, and that's the true one. So a brother meet Rose at companion's hearth.
When?
Well, doesn't say that.
It does.
Wait, it does.
Another thing you learned sometimes was to count the A's that are left alone. And that gives a time. So sometimes when you left messages to each other, it will let you know what time.
I see.
5,
So
eh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So then Al would just say, "Oh, at 5."
Actually, not at 5. You're
Oh.
missing an A.
Oh, wait, 1, 2. Oh, I'm thinking just capital A's. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At 8. Oh, so I'm still missing an A. Hang on.
No, it is 8.
Yeah. So at 8, and I would say so either 8 in the morning or 8 in the evening.
Does it say? she looks at you because anything's possible at this point.
He nods.
No.
He
Go
nods and he says, "Julia loved leaving hidden messages and things." Yes, it
But-
says.
How does she know you would read it?
Well, this is subtle enough that maybe she doesn't know I'll read it. Maybe she's hoping that if she stays here where we were at one point, we would return and I would see this.
Ellie nods, her expression very serious, and she looks down at the Bat Feces guy poster.
Al looks at it and says, "We can go see him first."
Well, it's not 8 yet.
Right.
Do you think you can fix a bad breath?
I-
This sounds
I-
like a job. Hang on. Now Ellie will get excited and she'll put her arm around Tom and she'll go, "Not us, Tom. We're not involved in this. This sounds like a job for Patrick and Al. Patrick because you're smart, and Al because you're a doctor. We're like certified in the best the ones to help him. Tom and I, we're just like moral support. Isn't that right, Tom?"
yeah, I've got no idea what I can do to help
Yeah,
this
that's right, Tom.
situation, so
She
I-
smiles.
Thank you, Ellie.
Al's-
You are a great help. I love you.
Mhm.
And
She
he is
looks over-
staring daggers at her.
She looks at you and says, "Tom, not." Oh, like brother love. Oh, I love you too, Tom.
Yes.
GM, what time of day is it?
It is 11 o'clock in the morning. After, because you got there in the morning, earlier in the morning, but it took you a couple hours to root through all that garbage. Or at
Got
least
it.
an hour, so it's
Right.
11 o'clock.
Then I would say, well, let's go meet this guy. If we are done by 8, then we can go meet Rose or figure out how we want to approach this. But sure, let's go. Let's go with Ellie.
All right. Well, then, if that's your next destination, I can narrate you guys there if that works.
Yeah.
So the Burton Tower Research Center is pretty prominent, and it's right at the heart, in the center of New Laszlo, one of the first buildings that was ever built when this place first started. It's an impressive 12-story building, capturing the eye as you approach it. It is the epicenter for research and development for New Laszlo, and for all humans and other kind. Right? It's constructed of beautiful white stone and surrounded with meticulous and breathtaking landscaping, and it is the pride of joy in New Laszlo. You can also notice that there's quite a bit of security around the premises as well of the New Laszlo Police Department in their dark green and black uniforms. However, when you and you're not allowed inside the premises, you are approached by a security individual just outside before you meet the threshold of this 12-story building. But when you mentioned you are there to meet the fellow who posted that message on the board there, that Nort, the security personnel, a young woman with a small scar on the tip of her nose, gives a bit of a laugh and she says, "Oh, him. Yeah, I'll radio up. I'll let him know that you're here to help him out." And she's going to pause for a moment. She's going to say, "Good fucking luck." Sure enough, she would radio, and she would ask you to wait by a nearby bench by an outcropping of some beautiful orange and pink flowers that are just beginning to bud and bloom since it is now spring. Are you guys able to wait? Are you willing to wait, patiently until this thorn crop comes on down?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll continue narrating then. As you wait, you only have to wait about 15 minutes or so. And outside the large oak wooden doors comes a small rotund human man. He's about 5'4", with a big shock of red hair on the top of his head, freckles covering his face, dark blue eyes, and he probably weighs a good 300 pounds. And if a man could be a spherical shape, Hort Thorncrop is a spherical shape practically, as far as body type goes. He walks with a slight waddle of an individual who is grossly overweight. And you notice that he's always kind of looking at the ground, looking around. And after the female guard, he talks with her for a little bit. She gestures over to you, and he looks over at you, but he doesn't look too excited or anything like that. He just kind of plods on over, and he goes, "Hort Thorncrop, at your service." And you can see he brings up a hand up to kind of cover his mouth a little bit in a very sheepish gesture. And even though he does that, although the rest of you are far enough away, you don't smell anything untowards, Ellie has a super sense of smelling. And the good news is that it doesn't smell quite like bat feces. The bad news is that bat's feces would actually smell better. It is a rotten, putrid stench that is almost like his tongue. It almost smells like his tongue is rotting in his mouth. And it's just wafting away into the air, and you can smell, the scent of this. And as he speaks, he says, "Well, I suppose you're here about the notice."
Patrick nods.
"Well, what do you need to know?" he says gloomily.
All right. Don't take offense to this. And Ellie plucks
he gives
her
a
nose.
big sigh and he says, "Yes, I know."
All right. So, when did this first start?
He pauses and he looks up a little bit, and his big dark blue eyes look fatigued, as if he's told this tale literally hundreds of times. As he says in a gloomy baritone, 1 year, 3 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days ago. He looks over to the pristine silver watch on his arm, and 13 hours ago. I woke up in the middle of the night after having a very horrible, shocking dream. I went down to get a drink of water. I had this bad taste in my mouth. I wanted to wash it out. Got up. After my drink, I went back to bed, and my wife complained that my breath smelled poorly, and she asked me to turn the other way on our bed. I did so, thought nothing of it, and when I woke up in the morning, the smell was still there, and it is still with me ever since. You have no idea how straining it is on my marriage and my interpersonal relationships, even my professional business, he says, as a esteemed researcher, and he gestures over to the tall white building. I know how my coworkers mock and laugh at me behind my breath. The worst of them all are the ones that pity me. They say they know this witch doctor from there or this alchemist from here, and I've tried salves, I've tried mints, I've tried dietary supplements, everything. Nothing. Useless. But I either give up or I might as well keep on trying. So who knows? Maybe you can help. Maybe not. Huh. He gives a sigh of his shoulders.
So, what was the really bad dream you had?
Honestly, it's so long ago, it's hard to remember, but I've had to go over the details more than a few times. He pauses a moment. He says, do you ever dream that you lived a past life?
Not me personally, no.
Well, I did. I dreamt that I was. He pauses for a moment as he scratches his nose. Well, I was a hunter, I guess you could say, a tracker, something. I can't remember. All I remember in this dream is I was hunting in the wilderness. It was strange. The leaves were different than the ones around here. No needles and maples or pines. No, it was a thicker. The trees, their trunks were white and the skin was almost brushing off of them, if that makes sense. They were white and black stump trees. Forest was filled with them. Dreamt that I was hunting some game, and I took down this deer with an arrow. I've never shot an arrow in my entire life. And when I went to eat the deer, I decided to do so raw. And when I did so, instead of it being fresh meat, it was the meat of carrion, of a dead deer. Although in the dream I had only killed it moments before, it sat and rotted on the ground as if it was there for 3 weeks. But for some reason I was compelled to eat it anyway. I say it was a past life or the life of someone else is because I was a good 2 feet taller, strapping, big bronze arms. Yeah.
Well, Patrick, Dr. Al, any thoughts?
Are you sure it was of a past life and not just of someone else?
Well, no, I can't be certain. It could. It could just be someone else who's living today, but it doesn't make much sense why I would be dreaming about them.
I see. And this is probably a moot question, but should be asked anyway. Have you had a professional doctor take a checkup and look into it?
He looks at you with big, gloomy eyes and he says, every clinic in this city has seen me as a patient. They
I
all
see.
think it's psychological, that something in my head is causing my saliva glands to create this. But he shrugged his shoulders. I don't see it. What's the term? They use psychosomatic because they say biologically there's nothing wrong with my endocrine system or any of my other bodily fluids. They also all tell me to lose some weight, but stress makes things difficult.
I understand. Well, my skill set is not much different than theirs, Patrick.
Oh, well, you did say that you have gotten a lot of ointments and things like that.
Yes. My
I
house
would-
is filled with them.
I would like to maybe approach this differently. A lot of those sound like immediate solutions, but I think the best thing to do would be to find the source.
He pauses for a moment, clears his throat. Well, and for a moment, there's a little spark in his eye as he looks directly at you, Patrick, and he says, that's the first time I heard that. They all profess they knew the source or that they could cover the source regardless of what it was. No one's ever asked what the reason behind it is. They see a symptom, they figure they cure. So, what do you think? Is it a
Well-
dream?
Well, a lot of doctors have looked at you and seem to have at least said that it had nothing wrong with your glands, at least physically. If that is true, we would have to look at other means. Magical seems like something that would overpower most other things. But let's find out what kind. Let's start. As Patrick sits there for a moment. Let's try to figure out what it's not, so we can figure out what it is.
Okay, he says, and he looks over to a corner of the bench. He says, can I sit down?
Yes.
I
He
have
sits down with a bit of a heft.
I have a question for the GM actually.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, yep.
In the player's knowledge, or owls, if you want to make it more narrow, is there any such thing as like cybernetic saliva glands?
No. No, there you can get a cybernetic tongue, but the glands are pretty much biological. The secretions specifically.
So I was gonna say, so they don't have. Well, I'm guessing like a Borg doesn't need saliva, so there's no
No.
way if someone had a.
And that's
saliva-
bionics, but yeah.
Yeah. Actually, gosh, I
Listen,
guess it'd be so rare that someone wouldn't be able to make
I was about
saliva.
to say, think if you damage your saliva glands, but how would you damage your saliva glands and not damage your entire lower half of your mouth?
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, just a thought.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, no, he can't just get cybernetic saliva glands. Although that sounds bananas.
Weird. Yeah, weird.
Okay. He looks slowly over to Patrick with his kind of hound doggy eyes. And he says, "So, what next?"
Well, if you're okay with this, I can do a basic check for an active spell. Let's say you've been, a worst case scenario, cursed with this. It would be an active spell, so I could sense if it is of magical base.
Also, if while you're doing that, if you don't mind, sir, if I could, just to be thorough, take a sample of your saliva, then I can take it back to me with the lab and see if I can determine something with the saliva itself and not your glands.
I see. Okay, both of those sound all right enough. So let's just say through with a swab or something like that, you managed to get a portion of his saliva easily enough right there and then and there, if that works for you, Al.
Sure.
As for detecting things, Patrick, how do you want to go about it?
Oh, God. You know what? Patrick wants to be thorough.
Uh-huh. Thorough's good.
So the best way he thinks that he can sense any sort of magic through this particular scent is through the smelling scent of magic. Of
Just sense magic with the big ass nose?
Yeah.
All right, give me a moment while I just give it a little read.
You might just try both. Wouldn't hurt to have more than one feeler out.
What, both the nose and the conventional spell?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Use both. Use the PPE for both. You cast the spell. You do? It was okay if we do the conventional spell first and then a nose second?
Sure.
Okay. Conventional spell is you get kind of like a ting in your brain. Almost like a Geiger counter, so you can sense whether you're near or far towards a person or object that's enchanted or under a magic spell.
Mhm.
And it's uncertain. Only because within 20 feet, well, no, that's not entirely true. It's almost like I don't know, like it's not. It's faint. It's extremely faint, and that's exactly what happens too when it's your nose and you're doing the smelling. Is that there is definitely something nearby, but you've used this spell in the past, and before it was like without question, right? Either there's magic or there's not. It's binary, right? But this, it's black or white. But for this, it's like gray in the sense that it's like there's something there, but it's not distinct. It's kind of masked in a way. And you notice something else. One last thing. It is stronger when he talks. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Long ass silence there.
Sorry, just deep in thought.
Sure.
Sir, would you be kind to open your mouth without speaking? I want to see something.
Okay, he says, as if He's had to do this a dozen times too, as he opens up his mouth, a gaping black hole with solid, pristine teeth. The teeth of a man who has brushed meticulously and perfectly for over a year.
Hmm.
Do I sense anything different when his mouth is open?
No.
Now say
And now you can sense it.
How odd. It's
What?
only when you speak.
Hmm?
What? He asks in a stupefied tone.
I have two sensories out, and they're both picking up the same thing. When you speak, a small bit of magical essence can be felt.
Huh.
Patrick have a giant nose?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I just need to visualize
Sorry,
this.
yeah, sorry. And for the record, the man is taken aback by it, of course, too. But in his quest to cure his breath, he's probably seen a few stranger things than that. But yeah, it's definitely not out of the ordinary. It is out of the ordinary. That is.
Wonder if it's purely through the vocal cords or through speech. Could you hum?
He hums, and you don't sense it. At least not as strongly as you did when he talks.
Could you sing a C for me? Any note will do without words.
He sings an off-tune small melody, and wait, you just want to have him sing the note,
Yeah, like
without any words to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Very similar as when he said you sense something.
Okay. So well, either means that it's through your throat more than humming goes through the nose, right? Oh.
Yes.
When I'm unsure about humming, is that more through the nose or does that take up the entire vocal cord?
As we all hum.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can Al maybe roll a check on his medical knowledge to know what
Sure.
would be used for that?
Yeah, roll it.
Give me a second here. I'm assuming it would be MD and then
Sure.
diagnostic. So that's 7.
Sure.
Okay. I succeed by 33.
Okay, so you'll know what it is, and let's all just come up with a consensus right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say intuitively it does go through the vocal cords.
I think so
Okay.
too, because you can feel your throat vibrate when you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when
Yeah.
just like when you're speaking, if you press your fingers up against your throat and you hum, there's something there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I do something like, can Al's back away a good distance and then take a whiff of the swab?
Oh.
Sure. And when you do so,
Mm-hmm.
you don't smell it.
Huh.
Que curioso.
Yeah.
Al will go
Yeah.
back and go to Patrick and say, Patrick, it's not the saliva.
You'll see Ellie kind of nudge Tom with her elbow, lean over to him. See, I told you they had this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a theory of what it might be, but it's literally it's a
Speak
literal
up.
thing.
Huh? What?
Dude literally has bad breath. The exhale of air is causing it.
Though, and if I understand correctly, or Inferno, if I could go with the role, if I understand correctly, bad breath in humans is caused all by the mouth, not the air itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So Al would say,
Unless
well,
it's something magical.
right.
But
Al would
basic
say,
biological science, yeah.
Al would say, under normal situations, the idea of bad breath is all from the mouth, the saliva, the what's in your mouth. The breath itself has no real odor. Normally.
Okay, Al, let me stop you there. In what time zone is this a normal situation?
Huh?
This doesn't seem like a normal situation.
I
You said in
understand.
normal situations, yes.
No, I understand. I'm simply
This is-
pointing out
I mean,
that this is yes.
out of character, did Patrick mention that he sensed something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Patrick senses something.
I agree. I'm just pointing out that it's certainly not a biological issue.
Oh, yeah. I'm not thinking it's
And-
biological. I think it's something magical to do with the literal air expelling from his lungs.
And more importantly, whatever it is not affecting him in any biological way. I.e., the saliva isn't just not the cause, the saliva is completely unaffected by it.
Yeah.
So, do you think like someone might have messed him up real good?
A curse or something of that nature?
She looks over at Port.
Yeah, Hort.
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 She'll-
Hort.
And she'll give him a look and says, "Do you know anyone that might wanna sabotage you?"
Well, no, he says. Before all this happened, I lived a pretty peaceful, relatively solitary life. I have my dear wife, a small cadre of friends, but I mostly spend my free time and my interests in research. More specifically, research into old phrases, old terminology, old languages. I have quite the mind for language, you know. It is fascinating how some scripts still survive from before the Golden Age and from different times and dimensions and peoples. So, no, I haven't run afoul of anyone in regards to that.
Now,
Well-
I'm just a small village kind of girl.
Not anymore, your village
what-
is dead.
Oh my god!
Ellie
Oh, no.
Ellie gets a pang of sadness in her chest as she hears the voice of God say such a terrible thing.
Wow, that's bad. That's terrible.
I am a cruel god. I'm sorry.
Like she skips a step.
Yeah, and she composes herself and says,
I'm sorry.
and says, "Well, what are the odds, you magic folk, that in his findings of old talky language, he accidentally cursed himself? Is that possible? Is that a thing? Like you say, like and like all of a sudden you did a curse?"
Uh-oh. Roll D100. Criana.
Oh no!
Hold on.
Roll it.
Hold it. Jesus Christ. 31.
Okay, you're good.
Oh, thank you.
There's 1% chance you actually uttered a curse.
So there
Wait, what
is
did
a chance.
Wow.
You spiteful God, thank you.
So I think it's safe to say that Al and Patrick could say, well, it's possible.
Well, Patrick would actually say, well, yes, it's actually very possible. Problem is, if you're not taught with the magical arts, using a spell it doesn't have the proper effect. Usually, more times than not, somebody can even cast a basic spell without spell knowledge and accidentally cast a much greater and more powerful spell. Maybe even something somebody doesn't know of.
Yeah.
I will look over to Sorry, Patrick will look over to Al.
Al would look at.
and-
Oh, go ahead.
and say, like that one time, with the old lady in bed.
Hang on. Players thinking brain. The entity we ran into that was taking care of the old lady.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything about
her.
that.
She tried to cast the spell that I did, which was the sense magic, and she actually casted something completely different. And I think,
Right.
Yeah, because she
Okay.
didn't follow the proper procedure.
Jeez, good memory.
Very good memory. Damn.
I'm impressed.
Al would nod and he'd say, "It's certainly possible. I can tell you one thing for sure. It's not a psychological issue. Whatever those doctors were saying, they didn't know what they were talking about. Your outlook on life, your psychological issue might affect your saliva or your mouth, but there would be some physical trace of it. This," he holds up the swab, "would smell, but it doesn't. And your outlook of life normally would not affect me. So it has to be something beyond the biological." Do you make a habit of reading things out loud that you don't understand?
Oh, well, he says, for a moment, well, when you're divulging a new language, you don't know everything, obviously, and so there are things that you don't understand. You have to piece it together. It's puzzle solving, he says with a smile. And I always had a mind for puzzles. And yes, especially when you're dealing with strange languages, whether it be Dragonese or Glenfarthen or perhaps even Elder Bathovian, sometimes you have to sound out the vowels, sound out the words with your own mouth. You see, because it's a fascinating thing is that sometimes the languages are written by people who don't have the same mouths as we do or the ways of making noise. So sometimes you have to shape your mouth and try to do your best with what we got. So yes, sometimes I speak it out loud.
Have you had any sort of magical training whatsoever?
No. My understanding is purely academical, not practical magical knowledge. He says, and his kind of droopy eyes look a little bit keener as he's kind of piecing together what you guys are implying, but he's not saying anything about that yet.
Well, when you're saying these phrases, do you do any hand motions?
No, not
Because-
typically. I only sometimes. Well, he says, well, that's not true either, I suppose. I do. He pauses for a moment. He says, sometimes you have to understand how the symbols line up too. So sometimes I bring a couple of my fingers together, and while I'm reading in my book or the scroll or the data pad, I tap my hand along to, count the syllables as I say it. Galafonathana, things like that. And he kind of gestures with his tongue, his hand as he does so to demonstrate.
Now, just for curiosity's sake, before you went to sleep, do you still have the research of that day?
He pauses for a moment. And he says, well, I don't have the physical copy myself. We share knowledge, share research and development, and that was a year off. Although I do keep a meticulous digital log of everything that I've been analyzing and learning. So I have, for lack of a better word, a digital record and a digital copy of it. And that should be easy enough to trace back to. I'm very meticulous when it comes to dating the days of my research, how much I've gone through my translations, that sort of thing.
Out of curiosity, do you remember ever reading anything in an old or a partially known language that would correspond with the dream? Any stories about people hunting deer, eating raw flesh, things of that nature?
No, he says, and with some earnestness, not at all.
May
But-
I see the notes of that particular date?
He gives a big sigh and he says, this data typically is only supposed to be used for the research. He pauses for a moment. He says, I cannot give you access to my entire logs. I will only give you access to that day, since that's what you're requesting. Is that sufficient?
That's
should
all we
be.
need.
Should. And if it helps you to feel better about it, think of this as research. If you did accidentally cast a spell upon yourself, it would be a spell ingrained in whatever culture you were researching.
Oh, very well. He says, well, follow me then. I'll get authorization for you to accompany here at the Burton Center. And we can go up to my office and I'll get the required information for you. So, I'll narrate us up to his office if that's okay by you.
Mhm.
Okay. So, after talking with the guards and about 30 minutes of bureaucratic paperwork to authorize your attendance here, attendance in the building itself, give me a moment here. What? Sorry, I lost my spot on my page. Give me a moment.
Oh, that's fine.
There it is. The Burton Tower Research Center. You enter in, and inside, the stonework continues, although the landscaping does not. A lot of hard edges, soft stonework, everything from the desks to the light fixtures. There are a few statues of along the walls of particularly insightful academics or individuals who donated to the Institute. And you climb 4 flights of stairs, of pure white stone stairs, until you reach the languages department, the esoteric language department to be specific, in which you see the largest and most prominent office does belong to this Nort fellow. He seemed to have a place of quite a bit of prestigiousness. And inside of his office, the back and sides of the walls are lined with physical copies of books. Some of them look like quite new. Some of them look quite new as far as their bindings go. And he has a computer terminal at his desk, and he gestures for you. He has a couple seats to sit down, some plush leather chairs that he invites you to sit down in, colored a very deep brown color. Unfortunately, there isn't enough for everyone, but he asks you to give him a moment as he goes to his terminal. He finds the file in question and asks, shall I transfer this to your own device, or would you like me to put this in a portable data stick for you?
Portable data stick would probably work well.
All right, he says, I'll give you an encrypted one, but please, once you're done analyzing it, I would feel more comfortable if you either return the data stick back to me or you deleted the data altogether. We're doing something very unconventional here, and if I wasn't the head of my department, I would have perhaps ethical considerations to worry about. But since you seem like earnest enough folk and you haven't even asked for a payment yet, I can only hope that your hearts are in the right place. So here you are, he says, as he hands the data stick over to you.
Patrick will nod, and he'll put it into his personal computer, and just so the person feels a bit more comfortable, he's going to use the basic computer use instead of using a cord to the back of his head.
Oh, that's nice. Although not as efficient, it's less weird. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not the most conventional thing in the world, but yeah, having a data jack is not super. Anyway, okay. Anyways, You download it onto your computer, and give me a moment because I have to look at someone's character sheet. Someone named Piffy.
What?
What?
I
I know.
turn into a raptor.
Well, that's not terrifying.
This is exciting. I'm glad we're doing this. I don't know why. This
Yeah.
is making me
No,
happy.
No, this is. I
It's
wasn't.
fun.
I wasn't. Okay, so this is what I'd like you to do for me. This is a weird combination of skills, but deal with it. No, deal. Oh my God, that's.
I will deal with it.
Be patient with me. I want you to do language Dragonese, but I want you to make it harder by 50%.
Ooh.
And then the success or failure of that by how much will influence your next skill check.
Okay. Dragonese 50. Got it.
Yeah, make it harder by 50.
That.
Whoa! Now,
Wow.
I'd like you to make a cryptology check. Cryptography check. It's at 59%. Make it easier by 5.
Okay.
Tell me how much you succeed or fail by.
Damn
My
it,
God.
Piph! What is
I'm
this?
in the
Damn.
zone!
So I
You
wasn't. Mhm.
I was gonna say if that was Ellie, she would have been one step away from uttering her curse.
So you rolled astoundingly, and you need to be rewarded by that. Both your thresholds for success are significant. So we're going to do a combination of narrative convenience and good old-fashioned skill. You've read this language before. It's a little different. Okay, wait. Let me start from the beginning. Do you remember back up in space when the Baron was showing off his goods and there was a certain tablet that had a spell on it? But you noticed the spell was an ancient form of Dragonese combined with an ancient earthen language of Sumerian. Do you recall that?
I do.
This is the same language, except the letters have been turned around. So you have to switch the letters around to get the true phrase. And you're able to, you notice this once within seconds of you looking at the language, being like, I saw this before. And you begin, if it's fair to say, would you begin right there at that moment to try to start piecing it together?
Yes.
So the rest of you can kind of see Patrick noticed this, and he's working quickly on his keyboard. And within a period of 15 minutes, a mere 15 minutes, you got a big chunk of it pieced together. And it's so where to begin with this little story? What's transcribed appears to be an oath to a trickster god named Mahikali. This trickster god is known for its loving secrets, for loving clues, for loving hidden things. And it punishes people when they try to unearth things that should stay hidden. And it typically punishes them in not calamitous ways, but in ways to in ways they won't forget, but nothing harmful, because it's a trickster god, not a violent god, right?
Mhm.
And sure enough, you know, you can read in your mind the phrase that before you scramble the words around and after you scramble the words around. before you scramble the words around, the phrase meant, may those who hunt in my forest reek of spoiled meat. But the translation of it actually says, beware those who seek and do not find, for the quarry is always mine. Now that you have the phrase unjumbled, yeah, like I said, you know both phrases now.
Mhm.
Ellie's just hovering over Patrick's shoulder, like nodding her head along, like, yeah, yes, yes.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. It seems to be of warning of seeking in a particular. It says forest, but I'm assuming that's probably more of a metaphorical forest.
Hort furrows his brow and he says, I'm sorry, young man, you have that completely wrong. That word, kala, does not mean forest. It means plateau.
Are you using Dragonese as the base?
Of course, that is the root. And an ancient language known as Babylonian is the other. I guess you could say cleft to it.
I got through this through Sumerian.
Sumerian? What is Sumeria? He says.
Another language of the past Earth.
He leans back a little bit and he says, I didn't realize you were a linguistic expert as well. And he doesn't say that accusingly. He says that with actual a degree of shock. Unfortunately, fortunately, he is a little bit more relaxed. Unfortunately, he has now taken his hand away from his mouth and his office is beginning to smell that smell.
Good.
So what you meant to say was fortunately and fortunately.
Okay.
Al has some weird hobbies.
Anywho, he says, I didn't realize you were a language expert as well. Well,
I do know a few languages. I probably don't know as many as you, but I do like. I seem to have lucked out on this one because I've seen something fairly similar to this before.
Oh, he says, luck indeed. So, if you may, if you feel like you want to share with a fellow intellectual, what does the statement say now that it has been analyzed to be this Sumerian and Dragonese?
Patrick pauses for a moment. It's more of a warning. Unsure if I should say it out loud to get the same effect.
Can you write it?
Well, I will say the gist of it, and then I will be of a bolder sort and go and give a straight translation.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems that there is a ancient trickster god. And it is a person who generally wants to keep things under wraps, at least from the text here, as well as some key phrases, which is quite cleverly written forwards and backwards, which has two completely different phrases.
Wait, there's two phrases.
Yes.
Nort furrows his brow, confused yet intrigued.
Well, let's see what happens when I do it forwards, as Patrick takes a deep breath and exhales and says the first phrase.
Roll me a d20, please.
Okay.
Your breath starts to smell like rotted meat.
Ellie will step a few steps away from Patrick.
Tom will do the same.
And Patrick covers his mouth. Well, now we know now we know this.
Yeah. Yeah, we know
Pause.
now, Patrick.
Let's see what happens if the backwards
Uh-huh.
phrase will
Patrick,
fix
stop
something.
talking, just do it.
Patrick will start saying the other phrase.
There's no need to roll a d20. The stench goes away from your breath.
Okay.
Sweat pours down Patrick.
and at that, wait. I'll let the PCs react to it first before I have Nort get all excited.
Ellie will breathe a sigh of relief, but forgetting that Nort's still in there and had gunked up the room a little bit earlier, she kind of goes.
Al's face is stoically passive, but between the combined stench, there is like a single tear.
And Nort looks excitedly from Tom to Patrick to Ellie to Al, as he has noticed the reaction, first initially of stench and then of nothing. He says, No, is that the phrase? Is that what I need? Here, give it to me, please, he says in desperate excitement.
Patrick will hand it over in haste, as he will hopefully stop talking.
and you can see beads of sweat start to coat over his forehead, causing his red hair to kind of stick to the skin as his palms go out and grab at your personal computer, brings it in front of him, and he reads the phrase a few times first before his mouth starts to take shape of the phrase itself, and he begins to sure enough tap his fingers along with the phonetic gesture, syllables of the phrase. And sure enough, when the phrase is complete, he gives a big sigh. He says the words, and he takes a deep breath, and a huge grin spreads across his face. He cups both his hands in front of his mouth, and he yells into it. He goes, "Ah!" And he takes a sniff of it, and he's like, he falls back into his chair, like a weight has been removed from his back and his shoulders, and he says, could you do me one more favor, please? And he looks over to Al. Medically speaking,
Of course. What do you need?
pinch me very hard. I need to know that this isn't a dream.
Al mumbles something about not very medical, but pinches him.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, I cannot believe this. I don't know what's more. I don't know if I should be embarrassed that I brought this folly upon myself, or just happy that You crossed my path and asked the right questions, and you, and he looks over the picture, came across this language before. For the past year and a half, I could have swore is Babylonian. Well, please, I am not the wealthiest man, but I definitely have my resources and connections. Name your price, please. Please, thank you.
A hug.
He
That's all
gets
I
up-
need.
He gets up so fast, pushes his chair out from him, and the roly-poly round man waddles over you and gives you a nice big old bear hug across your stomach and chest, because he's a little bit shorter than you.
Yeah. All right, payment accepted. Can we go now?
Oh, well, you must be jesting. This, come now. That was a fine display of affection. I do appreciate it, especially from a comely lass like yourself. But I am married. He waves over a thing. He goes, "Oh, and my wife is going to be so happy. Oh, she's going to be so happy. We won't have to sleep in separate rooms anymore."
How about this? How about you take your wife on a nice dinner tonight? Use that. We are all just about getting payment with knowledge. I think we got what we came here for.
Well, knowledge. If that's what you want, then consider a dear and respected friend in me. If you, although I might have made an error in my Babylonian, I do know a breadth of languages. If you require anything translated, or any knowledge of the base, of course, I cannot offer you the entire resources of the research center. That would be inappropriate, but personal favors I will be happy to grant.
That sounds wonderful, actually. She looks at the others.
Sure, a friend is always better than money, in my opinion.
Oh my, I was very fortunate indeed, not only to have learned saviors to my problems, but intellectual ones as well. So many mercenary types here in this world. I cannot blame them. Some of the places that they've been through. Thankfully, New Laszlo is a place of leisure and stability in which higher learning can be achieved. Oh, this is astounding. Oh, and may I never look at those words again. At least I know the reverse now if this were to come into another person's care.
Mhm.
Well, I have other people who work under me, and I'm sure if I were to pass on, they would have looked up my notes, and who knows, they might have had poor breath the entire time if they read my notes aloud.
Yeah, that's true.
Injured in the line of work.
Yes.
Patrick is actually been thinking there for a moment. A bit of shot of the dark, but do you have any information on the spirits of light?
Oh, yes, of course I do. In fact, I'm halfway deciphering a what we would call high speech, or the more superstitious or religious would say angelic speech. Yes, I know. I know some of that. I could share with you, or if you like, I could put aside some time for us to have daily meetings, and I could teach you some of it.
Oh, I'm unquite sure about our friend's schedule, but I would love to come by and see
Well,
what it is firsthand.
how about we slot, since I do have my work here, I can only spare about an hour a day, but it can be an hour a day anytime you want. Trust me, I can move my schedule around for you, my friend. Yes, I can. So simply drop by an hour a day or whatever days work for you, and I will be a most eager and attentive teacher to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I do have to admit, it is one of my working languages, I might say. I have exactly 20 of them I've been picking at and puzzling at over the few years, but I do believe I have at least 50% of the vocabulary sussed out.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yes, I like to think so, he says, quite pleased with himself. And I'll be far much more productive now. Now they don't have to worry about snickering or rumors around this place.
Go up and just breathe on everyone.
He pauses for a moment. He sits back in his chair and he says, "I might think to think nothing of it. Just pass the day as if it were normal. Make them all keep guessing what happened. Don't give them the satisfaction of my cure, so to speak."
I like you. That sounds like a good idea.
He goes, "Well, I'm very fond of you all too. If you do require monetary, recompense, please speak up."
Friendship is more than money can buy.
Yeah.
Very well, very
And
well.
honestly, the data that you have will help my buddy Patrick a lot. So I think that's more than enough.
Well, if you say so.
Your data stick.
Oh, yes. I guess we didn't have to go very far with that, did we? He chuckles and he puts it in his pocket. Because someone rolled really well and he did it on the fly. All right.
Well,
You must be busy.
Yes, well, I don't mean to hustle you out or anything like that, but if you have other things to do, then have me not stop you. Just whenever you wish to visit again, please let me know. Like I said, I will happily make the time. Well, here, let me walk you back down, he says as he gets up from his chair and waddles around and happily he escorts you down, and as you go down the 4 flights of chairs towards the end, he passes by someone. She's an elven woman. It's hard to tell the age of the elf, but she has very, very long blonde hair. So much down it goes down to like the backs of her knees. She's very prim. She has a set of spectacles on her nose, and as she sees Nort and her companions come down the stairs, you can see her make an audible like, "Oh no," and she begins to move to like the other side of the stairs. As she passes on by, you can see she's holding her breath, but she pauses for a moment, and you notice like he continues his merry way down, but she pauses on the staircase above him, and she looks around him, and she says, "Nort, is everything all right? I feel that something's different about you." He goes, "Oh, you wouldn't imagine," he says in a happy voice. But it pays her no other heed, and he leaves her confused and staring at what the hell he might mean by that. But soon enough, he escorts you back to the door, and with a hearty handshake and another maybe hug to Ellie if she'll take it.
Oh, she will.
He'll wish you the best of luck in your endeavors and to not be strangers, and he heaps praise and thanks upon you.
Job well done.
Most of the time, Patrick has been very. His facial expression has not been beaming for most of this time until the part where he actually had his breath turn bad. Actually, is the first part where he started actually smiling. And at this particular point, all the way afterwards, he's had his original smile that you probably remembered way back when you first met him.
Aww.
Hey.
Job well done.
Yep.
Indeed. Well done.
Excellent work. Well, do we want to wait for Squee to come back before we move on to the next order of business?
Oh. Yeah, I was wondering why he was so quiet.
Yeah, he had to take the puppers out. I wouldn't mind waiting for a few minutes. I need to
I'm
use
gonna
the
go grab a
bathroom.
drink.
Yeah, let's take a bathroom break then. Here.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Grab a ginger beer.
Ginger beer.
For those who might not know, ginger beer is non-alcoholic, so I'm not endorsing people to go out and drink the alcohols.
Although some ginger beer is alcoholic. Like, I've had ginger beer up here, and it has alcohol in it, but it's not necessarily made with alcohol. It's like having alcoholic root beer, right?
Yeah. Hard sodas. I think that's what they're called. I had a few hard sodas by accident because the people are like, "Hey, sodas!" I mean, like, "Oh, these look cool." I start drinking them, like, tastes like burning. I can feel it. I can feel the warmth going down my throat. Does this have alcohol in it? Yes.
What's going on?
I was talking about harder sodas.
Just because Hort bid you all adieu. Before we moved on to the next thing, we were waiting for you to come back. So Burn and Criana are doing the washroom drink thing.
I see. Thank you for that. Yeah, I had to go take Peppers out so he didn't pee everywhere. Yay, we did it. Yay!
I'm probably never going to roll like that again.
I'm also might have waning faith in the medical community of New Laszlo.
Look, people just
Why?
like,
Oh, now if I can defend the medical, okay, let's talk about this a little bit.
Mhm.
Say you have this guy who's complaining he's having bad breath, but you see no physical reasons for it. You're probably in the same room. What you're going to do is you're going to tell him, you're going to, just because they didn't detect whether it was a spell or not, doesn't make them bad doctors.
True, but any doctor worth their salt probably should have taken a sample of the saliva and tested it, and would have found out that.
What if they felt that that wasn't necessary? They did a physical examination.
Then I have.
You did a physical examination.
In the medical community. Well, that's my point. Is I have waning faith in the medical community if they didn't even take a. I'm not saying that it's unrealistic. I'm saying that, in my opinion, or Al's opinion, they should have at least taken a sample of his saliva and studied it.
well, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, so there's a person who has bad breath. You know how bad breath works, and you just kind of go like, all right, here are the symptoms, here are the things, and they even did a thorough examination of his gland, and they're just like, there's nothing wrong. There's no reason to take the saliva if they found nothing wrong with it.
Precisely. It would be redundant. And second of all, I think you're actually applying modern medical knowledge to the medicine of a post-apocalyptic world in kind of a frontier town. You know what I mean? Like if we were up in space, or maybe in a really, really big advanced town, that'd be one thing, right? But New Laszlo isn't huge. You know what I mean? It still has very much a frontier spirit to it. And there is a variety level of doctors, both on skill level, but also patient level, how busy they are. So I think it's unfair to lambast the entire medical community of the town just because the ones that he went to didn't take a saliva sample.
Well, he said he went to every single one, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he didn't say for how long.
Well, all I'm saying is, from Al's perspective, if he went to every single one of them...
Where are you getting that perspective from?
He's a trained medical doctor.
Yeah, but where were you trained?
Yeah. And I said
space.
He lost his... Yeah, I know, understand. But think of it from his point of view. He would assume most trained doctors are somewhat on the same level he is, and now maybe he got a realization that maybe they're not. So he's losing some faith in
Wow. Okay.
What an ego. Jesus.
Well, it's not... Whoa. It's not an ego. If you are trained in something and you are a trained medical doctor, you would naturally, until proven otherwise, think that most medical doctors are on the same level. He doesn't think he's better than everyone. He probably thinks he's on everyone else's level. That's the opposite
They
of an
could have
ego.
gone through different procedures and all of that, but all of
You're
this
missing
is...
my point.
I'm not
It's
missing
the
your point.
opposite of an ego. He's thinking everyone else is on his level or better. That's not an ego at all.
No, but now you're saying that you have lost faith in them, so that implies that you are better than them.
No, I didn't say I lost faith in him. I said I.
Yes, you did!
Your face was wavering!
You literally said that!
Yes. His faith was wavering. That's not the same thing. It's not like I don't have any faith in them whatsoever. It's just that,
Whatever.
well, they didn't do this. Maybe they're not as
Why
good as I
don't
thought they
we?
were.
Why don't we go
Let's
back
not-
to the
Let's
session?
not talk this to death.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, wait
Let's
till
not.
Criana we have to wait till Criana gets back.
I,
So.
I personally just like the concept of get on my level.
It's kind of what I was hearing, which is why I was defending him.
Well, there
You know what
was
I
a little
mean?
part of that. I mean,
Oh, but
he was
Okay.
able in like
Sure.
3 minutes to prove that it wasn't a psychological issue
yeah,
with almost no testing whatsoever.
you did do some testing.
He took a swab and sniffed it.
That's
Yep.
a test.
Yes,
Yep.
and he would.
But-
he would
But don't you see sometimes, listen, Squee, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the simple solutions, have you not come across a thing or a problem where the solution was literally or figuratively right under your nose, but you overcomplicate things? Those doctors probably had scanners. They probably had analyzing machines. They probably had full body, this, that. They probably had intricate analyzing devices to get down to the root, down to the saliva glands to make sure they're working, all that other stuff. They didn't bother to do the rudimentary test because that's exactly what it was. Rudimentary, base level, right? So they did their thing, you did your thing. Your thing worked. And if you want to think your character is better and basic and more logical than all the other doctors in New Laszlo, then feel free to. That's fine. But understand that that might not be entirely the case.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots
All
of
right.
things Al thinks aren't exactly the case. Like he probably thinks he's a decent spy.
I was gonna say Al and having a bit of an ego. I've never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Okie
God, are we
dokie.
going there?
All right.
No, let's go. Let's
No
get out of
problem.
here.
Yeah, no, I had to just get that off my chest because it sounded like a backhanded insult to my game world where I'm just
Well,
like, uh-oh.
I very clearly stated it was not unrealistic or unbelievable at all.
Oh, okay. Well, then there we go.
Yeah,
We're all
I
good.
said that like long before because no, I think it's completely believable. There are such things as doctors who, well, everything you just said makes
Yeah.
absolute sense. So no,
Yeah, so let's not talk it to
unrealistic.
death. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
I
All
missed
right,
it. I was
onwards.
pooping.
That's fine.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Jesus. One of these days we'll learn not about every your never mind. Anywho, what would you guys like to do next? It's probably around after this whole escapade. It's probably around noonish now, but once again, the time in this game world is flexible. If you want to move ahead to a certain time period or whatever, feel free to. But what do you guys want to do next?
Well,
yeah, go ahead. You first.
what kind of plan do you guys want to do? Do you want to try and find a abandoned warehouse? And possibly have me bring a note to her and tell her in a cryptic way to go to this place?
No, that won't work anymore because we're not meeting her. We're meeting Rose.
Yeah, well,
I still think that we should maybe. Okay, so here's because I know Criana's not aware of what we're talking. So my worry is this: when it comes to Jalea, she has a group with her, and we know nothing about this group. And it's possible that one of them could be a plant by the coalition because, hey, his sister's looking for him. Why don't we keep tabs on her? And it would be good to know if that's the case before we just walk up and say, "Sister, here's me and all my wanted friends."
Hi.
I'm Patrick.
I'm special.
I can do
I'm
things
worth
with
10
my
million
brain.
credits.
So the idea is to try and determine if it's safe to just go up and approach them or whatnot. The idea at first was to approach them, say, "Hey, I know where Al is. He's at this like abandoned warehouse." I use that just as a phrase, not we literally have to find one, but a place where he is, and see if, for example, if one of her entourage leaves or if people show up way faster than they should under the idea of someone was tipped off. You know what I mean? But that's not going to work as well because we're not meeting Jalea. We're meeting someone to meet Jalea. So I think honestly, maybe at this point, it would be nice to find a location in case we want to use this plan, like some place we could use so that we have it set up. But honestly, I think the best bet would be to send someone like Tom, if you want, or Al, or someone to meet Rose and just play it by ear. Go from there.
I mean,
I was gonna say, yeah, I'd play it like, I mean, do the coalition know about you guys and your new identities, or is that
not to our knowledge?
As far as we know. As far as we know.
Okay. I would say, yeah, like, don't send a whole group. Just go there and be like, hey, is there a Rose? Because I saw this message and I'm sort of curious about it on behalf of a friend, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then see what happens. And actually, what might be really cool is, Tom, if you want to make the approach, then like Al goes in there a little bit early and just takes a seat somewhere where you can hear.
Or just the two of us go.
Yeah,
I mean, why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
I mean,
Screw it.
what you
Fuck
could do
all
is
plans. Just
Jesus
do that. Fucking let's just do this.
I was gonna say, if you do that plan, I mean, make it even more fucking mysterious. If this elf that's been sitting there for like the previous hour, you know, just doing his own thing, all of a sudden comes over and is like, "Yeah, what about this message?" You know, really get the wheels turning in the brain. Like,
oh my god,
friends.
If we want to mess with her, have Al just start like playing it as a song, the message, because the message is like a fairy tale.
I mean, we
like
could
bard-like,
technically.
Yeah,
but
why not?
You know what? I'm just gonna have Tom go in, say hi, Rose. Are you with the coalition? And I'm gonna punch her in the throat.
No, that's way too complicated, and they would know who Mila is.
I'll wear a mustache.
Yeah, this plan is bulletproof.
No, that's as fun as that sounds. It's way more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's an owl plan right there.
Can I just say you do have a special tiara or headband?
Yeah, we do.
Yes, well, I was thinking about that. But
the hairpin.
they only made us leave magical weapons behind.
Mm-hmm.
So we could take that. Sure, we could have Mila wear that. Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh no!
We just got shot.
My puppy gate fell
Get
over.
down, Mr. President.
There's a very, very scared dog looking at it going, oh my god!
Is your puppy made of marbles?
No, the puppy gate. The puppy gate.
Oh, the gate. Okay.
I just heard puppy fell over, and I'm like, what?
No,
My Fabergé puppy.
I have a puppy gate to keep him in the room, and it was just leaning up against the wall, and he was sniffing it, and he tipped it over and got freaked out.
Way to go! Way to go! Way to go, puppy!
Good job, Wally. All right, sorry about that. Oh my God, yes! If we have the magic tiara, I could play the guitar, and then Mila could sing the note.
I could be on a different part of the place. Wait, how busy is this place? Is this place?
I don't know. You haven't even been there.
We haven't been there.
Okay, so we could just be singing in a massive crowd.
Wait, Mila, why don't we make a show of we go to this place, we ask if they want entertainment for the night, and then we sing a set as part of the set.
I know of this place already, so this is gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey guys, let's not come up with a complicated plan. Hey, let's actually become entertainment.
Let me have my musical. This I don't think Squee and I have, or Alan, Mila
only
Alan.
once. We've
What?
only done it once with
Oh,
the
that's
Convince the town of Greencastle that you weren't horrible murderers.
Well,
through
two
song.
times.
Oh, yeah, that's
two times.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait,
We
we've
put
done
it
it twice because we did it then, and then with the Endless Storytellers, Mila and I had a set once.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Let's do it. Let's fucking do
I
this.
wish this campaign never ends just so we can call back to previous amazing
Let's
shit that
do
you guys
this.
did.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
let
let's
me,
do this. There is a
I have
problem.
a disguise. What?
Uh-huh. What's the problem?
I'm disguising.
Well, I could join in. I could play guitar, but somebody broke my guitar and promised to get me one,
your guitar.
and still has yet
We
to get me a new
we need
guitar.
you to be the femme fatal in this situation.
That's why. Even though Al's gonna buy you a new guitar, it's not his fault. B, we can get you a new guitar, but you could also be in the audience watching Rose.
I mean, I could. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, let's fucking do it. I have a persona I want to disguise.
Yeah, sure.
Amelia.
Let's
I
just
wanna
do
do
this.
But let's keep this in mind. I owe Tom a guitar.
Yes, you
Oh
do.
yeah. We'll write that on the top of the to-do
Not
list.
my fault, but totally my fault.
Okay, let's go. Can we go someplace
Yes.
so I can get disguised up?
Yes,
Sure.
yes. Let's go back to. Oh, wait, this is perfect. Yeah. We'll go back, and we were going to ask August if he could do something with those things that you put in the hair anyway. So this is perfect. We'll go back to the ship. We'll get you all disguised up, and then we'll ask August.
Now,
Now,
you should have enough time to do that.
now this isn't for me. This is for the viewers. What does the tiara do?
So it disguises your face.
It's a hairpin.
It's a brooch, actually,
Yeah, a
not
brooch.
tiara. I
Oh.
misspoke.
Okay, it disguised.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Patrick turned into a woman, didn't he?
Yes.
Kind of.
Mask of Deceit hairpin.
Okay.
If you really, I can read it out for you if you like. Give me a moment.
Okay. I mean, not for me, for the viewers, but yes,
Yeah, definitely.
very helpful
not
for the
you.
viewers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wink.
Oh,
Wink.
subtle.
It's all what I'm about.
Let me just go to the Baron Magic item list. I'm so glad you guys didn't take all of the items that you could have. Okay. Magic item is Mask of Deceit hairpin. It's not even a brooch, it's a Alright, it's a hairpin. Hairpin constructed from silver and has tiny emeralds mounted on it. However, it allows the wearer to magically create an illusionary mask over the person's own facial features. Age, gender, skin color, hairstyle, hair length, and specific features are composed with thought. However, the magic of the item is limited to facial features and does not apply to other parts of the body. The wearer can attempt to imitate a specific person's face by 20% plus 5% per level of experience of the creator of the item, so it'd be a 40% chance. If the wearer has a disguise skill, use that base skill instead with a plus 20% bonus. And Mila has a disguise skill. Saving throw. Everyone encountering the person gets a save versus magic, but is -8 to succeed. Successful save means the true features are seen, not the mask.
Okay. I can make this work.
Great.
Wow. Does that mean? Wait. Does that mean that someone who's not trained to resist magic basically has to roll a nat 20?
No, everyone gets. You wait. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, anywho, so how about this? How about I narrate you guys going back to the ship so you can talk with August and get what you need to get done. In fact, I don't need to narrate it. Here's the narration. You go through the checkpoints, you travel back with your vehicles to where you have the ship. Then docks from its hiding spot and you get back on board. Boom.
Yeah.
You're back on the ship. So you're able to grab whatever items you require. And you want to talk to August, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. So whomever wants to speak with August, I'll leave it open to you guys. But he's actually currently in, I guess, the dining area. He's at the dinner table, for lack of a better word, and he's poring over a computer terminal. And it seems to be hooked up to one of the major data streams, information streams on board the ship itself. And you can see over his shoulder, he's running some sort of program to kind of decode things in the background. It's kind of running on its own devices as he notices those of you approach him. He goes, "Oh, back already? Is everything all right?"
Everything's fine. We may have a
Good.
lead on my sister.
"Oh, well, that sounds very fortuitous," he says with a thin smile.
I have a question, actually.
"Oh, all right. Shoot."
Those devices you made for us, the small ones that I can hide in my hair.
Yes, the auditor. Yes.
I know that they can record, but do they have the capability, or would you be able to make it so that they could transmit, like a bug, a way for someone close by to hear a conversation that's taking place?
He says, Honestly, it would require a receiver, a slightly stronger battery. And frankly, it would have to a whole new device that would have to be manufactured. In addition, I don't seem to I wouldn't have the parts for that. What if you were able to acquire something for me in New Laszlo, if such a place does have it, uh, a simple transceiver or radio transceivers. All I need is, we'll say a dozen of them or so in case I need to cannibalize some. And I can make them a little bit more efficient, I guess you could say. I'll be able to integrate them.
Okay, definitely. We'll look into that.
It's good that you're here, actually, because there's something I want to talk to you all about. And since the Rhapsody is a part of our enterprise, I figured you're best to know. After our last encounter, flying around while you were whining and dying, that Perrin fellow, we, of course, as you recall, were under attack. So I was trying to determine exactly the thresholds of this and why we were under attack and how they were able to monitor us. I recall when we were all wooed by the Baron and some of the technological devices that he could provide. Some of them were satellites. And I've come to understand through some probing of the data that was on board the Rhapsody here, common archives, you see, historical, nothing top secret or anything like that, just common knowledge for the people up in space, is that, well, he pauses for a moment, the entire Earth is monitored by camera, by recording, by video feeds, all the time. And some of their zoom lenses are considerable. They have had hundreds of years viewing Earth in this state, give or take 50, in which it was very tumultuous for them. But they've seen everything that's happened on Earth, you understand. They have seen every ley line open, every city rise and fall, every major war, everything. So I'm thinking I want to, well, we all know that the network has a considerable amount of information and contacts, and this was one of its premier ships. I have a feeling that there's some data in here, in the Rhapsody, in its data banks, that might be able to assist us in understanding what's monitored where. And, well, I want to very carefully, very, very carefully try to get that data. Unfortunately, if I know the folks that work for the network, I can't just brute force my way through it or do trial and error, because maybe I'll get into something and it'll shut down entire systems. You understand? So I'm going very, very slowly, very methodically, but I want you to know that that's what I'm doing. I'm for lack of a better word, I'm going to try to hack the Rhapsody's data core.
Well, it makes sense. They didn't have a chance to wipe it before we took it.
No, they did not. I'm sure the Baron did not anticipate this whatsoever. My only concern is, well, we get up to a certain height and they're going to try to blast us again. And
Right.
with all due respect with Miss, Blink, her experiences, they had to wait years upon years upon years upon years to find a window, a perfect storm in which to go back and forth from space. So, well, yes, their monitoring is quite extensive, but, knowledge is the first step to exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried they might be able to have a more dangerous way of attacking us than the satellites?
No, probably not. If I remember correctly, their focus is on containment, not annihilation of what's going on. In fact, it probably wouldn't serve their purposes. It's best if things go up into space and never come back. That leaves a mystery. But if they start beaming things onto Earth's surface itself, well, that would cause quite a bit of concern.
Makes sense.
No, it's just, well, if we're to utilize this ship as we wish, it'd be good to know that we can fly in as much safety as possible. Wouldn't you agree?
How do we minimize the risks of what you're doing?
Time, he says. Time and expertise. I would require someone else who had programming knowledge, and he looks over at Patrick if he's there. He says any rendered assistance with that would be possible, but frankly, I have a very solid plan, but this will take a significant amount of time in order to do it right, because I only got one shot at it, I think.
Well, I mean, I trust you at least. Just be as careful as you can be.
Well, I intend to, since I'm going to be living on this as well, and I would die if the life systems went out suddenly as well. So, yeah. I'll tell you what. This is all preparatory. I'm doing all prep work right now. When I begin to really probe the defenses of the Rhapsody's data cores, I'll let you know.
Sounds good.
Good. But yeah, as our earlier conversation, radio transmitters, 12 of them, anything of models at least that were made in the last 5 years. I don't want to deal with old tech. And then I might be able to manufacture something for you.
Fair enough. On the short term, are any of our radios capable of transmitting continuously? Perhaps we could just use one of those as a bug device, just have it transmitting.
Well, there's a very simple hack for that, August says. You just get a piece of tape and you tape it over the transmitter button.
Yes, that is a bit...
He kind of gives a stupid know-it-all smirk.
Al looks at him and he nods and he says, I was looking for something a bit less discreet, or a bit more discreet.
No, unless... And unfortunately, you understand how radio signals work. If one is just opening a broadcast, no one else can communicate to it. It would take up the entire airway of that channel.
I know. The idea is only if I would have a conversation and one of us would have a conversation to get people outside the conversation to be able to listen in. But, we'll have to do with what we can, and we'll look into getting you that equipment.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, best of luck. Oh, and he pauses for a moment. Best of luck trying to find your sister. I was an only child, so I can't imagine what that is like, but I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
And come back safe, of course.
Will do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm done.
He gives a thin smile to Ellie before y'all leave, but are you good for me to narrate you back to New Laszlo?
Sure.
Yeah, we good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
I'll get ready for this whole 2 sentences.
Your disguises. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait, disguises?
If you look in
Are you posting
Discord,
this?
in Riffs, my disguise, what Ellie's gonna do with her hair, essentially, because her face doesn't matter so much. She'll change her face, but
Oh,
mostly the hair. That's
Jesus. First one?
yeah, the first one. The second one was the runner-up. Some Lady Gaga for all of you fans out there.
Okay, question.
So is it actually going to be that
Oh, no,
long?
no.
Is it going to cover her face like that?
Yep, she's gonna be running into shit. She'll probably she's gonna go full on like celeb esque persona. So she'll
Okay.
probably hold on to Al's arm, and Al will have to do most of the talking.
This is amazing. Okay.
This is what
Bow
we're
or
talking
no
about.
bow?
Oh god.
If I can find the bow, that would be excellent.
I'm sorry, but in New Laszlo, you cannot find a bow that big. There is no giant formal
Okay,
bow
like
going
I
on,
know
I'm afraid.
Bear is sort of my my adoptive sort of father.
Uh-huh.
Do you think he would have picked up some sewing skills?
Bear, I need this. Okay.
Wait a second. He has to live on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, wilderness, if things, and he definitely is of the mind if something's broken or torn, he's not going to throw it away. He's going to fix it himself, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Does he have any paramedic or medical knowledge?
no,
Oh, okay.
just first aid. You know what? It's your NPC, really. So yeah, we can say he has some rudimentary sewing skills.
Okay. I would like Bear to attempt to make a giant ass bow out of like a pillowcase or something.
Roll a D100. This is amazing.
So yeah, while they're having that conversation, Ellie would be like, "Oh,
He
hey,
doesn't do a half bad job at it.
perfect."
It is the right side is a little bit bigger than the left side, but it's pretty close to Ellie's bizarre specifications.
In some
Now, what I'm
places,
curious
they call
about is,
that
does he
fashion.
do this happily or begrudgingly?
Well, no, he does this because she asked, and if it makes her happy, much like a surrogate father
Yeah, I was
figure,
gonna say.
if it makes her happy, then he's happy, although he doesn't understand it.
Exactly. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
At least she's not dressing like a slut.
Oh,
She's more clothed than she ever has been.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant like, a father and your daughter's about to go on prom, and it's like you're wearing that,
a bikini, yeah.
Yeah, you're you're McLaughlin, not a whore, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
Besides, Bear would never say something like that.
No, he's very supportive.
We're all just goofing around. Yes, he is.
Very
Okay, so yeah, like I said, the right side's a little bit larger than the left side, but otherwise it's to those specifications.
fantastic.
And it is exactly made out of a pillowcase, by the way. It is
Wonderful.
definitely. It's the only thing that would be big
Yeah, I
enough
was
for
gonna
something
say.
of this.
Yeah.
Jesus. What are we doing on this campaign?
Greatness. We are doing greatness.
We are,
Also,
we are,
at some point before we leave the Rhapsody, Ellie would approach Patrick and in her full disguise and be like, so Patrick, I need you to
oh
I
God.
need you to be like my bodyguard, So if you could do that, like just play along, just make me look popular and that also thing, So it's okay. She'll walk away then.
Patrick says they're going. She means now. I can't go with her. He knows that, right?
Patrick's just saying this to no one.
He's just do an empty room as the camera pans out.
Ellie's gone yet.
Okay. So I'll let that I'm gonna let you guys figure that out.
Yeah.
So I'm
suss it out.
gonna do the 2-sentence narration back to New Laszlo.
Mhm.
Okay.
You disembark the Rhapsody and get back aboard your personal vehicles. You take the winding path past the farmlands of the outskirts of New Laszlo to once again you meet the security gates, passing through it without trying to smuggle anything through. And after everything is checked out as a non-violent, non-aggressive, magical, or personal items, you once again enter New Laszlo proper. Maybe even as you do so, you ask for rudimentary directions to this place called the Companion's Hearth. Sound fair?
Mhm.
In which you are directed towards the south end of the city, one of the more newer boroughs that have cropped up. And is it fair to say that you guys travel there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, give me a moment as I scroll up to the entertainment section because I added in a new entry here. There we go. The Companion's Hearth is a perfectly circular building made of pine wood. In fact, I'm going to just describe this in general terms. and then have you guys decide what you want to do there. In fact, when one enters the building, everything seems to be made of sanded down, untreated pine wood. At the center of the building is a gorgeous and intricate red-stoned hearth in which a fire always rages. Around the hearth are surprisingly comfortable pine benches that are laid out in a series of circles around the hearth, layers around it. Although this place, the companion's hearth, does provide food and drink, alcohol itself is not served. And the only form of entertainment is the telling of tales, sometimes by professional storytellers, bards, and jesters that are hired on by the ownership of the companion's hearth, but sometimes by amateurs. All are welcome to speak.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We're amateur. I mean, we're professionals.
Oh, wait, this is so perfect. We made a bardic tale of the whole adventure with Razor. We can just redo that.
Oh God!
Remember, we already made we put the whole
just
story to
replaced it.
guitar and had her
Yeah.
sing it.
Yeah, we just replaced the words with the mysterious.
Oh,
thing.
we could throw that in there at the end. Oh, that could be like the encore or something.
Well, okay, that's a little I'm a celebrity. That's a little
that is
presumptuous to assume.
But you're right. So we can just replace one of the verses or something with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So, who's going to enter the building and take part, and who's not? And around what time do you want to show up?
Patrick.
So I can describe the scene more, more viscerally.
Patrick will not be around.
Okay. Will he be waiting outside the building in the meantime? At another place, another meeting spot? Will he be monitoring the radio?
He will definitely not be around the building.
Okay.
Um,
Well, there is a
he
park
will-
nearby.
yeah, if there's like a meeting spot you guys wanted him to be at.
I
Like
know where
after
you
this
can
session.
be. This is 8 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, question. When does the library close in New Laszlo? Because I know New Laszlo has a library.
Answer, 9:00.
Well, you can chill there for an hour.
Oh, fantastic! Patrick would love to do that.
Good.
And he does have a card for it. I believe.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
does. He does have a library card for life.
Mm-hmm.
It was a gift from Al. Bah. Okay,
Yay.
so Patrick's gonna chill in the library in the meantime.
Yes.
Tom, Ellie, and Al are all gonna enter the building, though, right?
Yes. I think I will enter staggered, like 10 to 15 minutes after.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and then are we playing this off as Al is going to have to do the negotiation because Ellie is the diva?
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
The diva doesn't do her own
She-
negotiation.
Yeah.
She'll put in her 2 cents every now and then.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure that's how we're playing this.
Are you going to be assisting her while she walks in, or are you just leaving her to just fend on her own?
Oh no. I think her assistant guitar player, who's really not the important one, has to help her.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really
Otherwise, she would drop him and find someone more talented.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So I'd
So-
say around 7:30, maybe.
Okay. All right. So you enter the establishment. Sure enough, the as described, you are first hit by a scent of fresh pine that hits in the air, followed closely by the smell of burning wood and cooking food, and the rumbles of conversation. There are approximately 20 to 30 other people in here, mostly humans, with a few DBs as well scattered amongst the midst. Most of them are sitting down on one of the large circular benches around the hearth, although many individuals favor the side of the hearth in which the fire actually blazes. At the center, next to the hearth, next to the fireplace itself, stands a young woman. She looks maybe in her late teens or so, who is currently strumming a small mandolin as she is telling or more specifically, singing a tale of a thief trying to steal a dragon's gold. On the outside walls of the establishment is actually where one can go and order and pick up food, in which there are no traditional tables in which for people to eat at. All the food is pretty much finger food that you're given to on a plate, and so you can sit down and eat. And the drinks themselves are also in these large wooden cups as well that you can take to your seat as well and drink and eat as the stories and the songs continue on. And the owner, or at least the proprietor or the manager of this place, the one who seems to be the center of all this activity of arranging food and greeting guests or whatnot, is a large man. He is African American, black. He is he's 6.5 feet tall. He looks like he is in maybe his early 50s. He has wisps of gray in his black short beard, and his hair is cut very, very short. His voice cuts through the crowd, this big, deep bass song, and you really draw your attention when he laughs, this wonderful, resolute sound. He looks that when he was younger, he was really, really fit, but now he has himself a bit of a paunch. But he's still, even though he is softened around the edges, he still looks like he has a bit of heft to him. He's dressed in a dark blue shirt, black slacks, and what appears to be almost like a cook's apron over top of him that's smudged with a little bit of food. And he's handing out certain foods to folks and so on and so forth, I guess you could say. You don't see anyone else of note that you're keeping your eyes out for. Certainly not any woman with any rose on her whatsoever, at least not yet, as you enter the establishment. And as Al and Ellie enter, the gaze of a few of the onlookers, especially the ones closer by, would stare and look at the oddly dressed woman who has entered the building. And sure enough, in mid-sentence, this big black proprietor would say, welcome to the Companion's Hearth. I recognize most faces, and I know that this is your first time.
Yes, it is. We've
Well,
heard
take
that
a seat,
this-
enjoy a tale.
She's
I'm
like
sorry,
whispering.
yes? What?
She's whispering.
Wait, real quick, Criana. What's her name?
That you're gonna have to come up.
Diva.
Okay.
You're gonna have to
Okay,
come
then-
up with something because
Okay. Then Al.
You did not think this far ahead?
Al would lean it forward and say, "I'm sorry. What, Melicanth? Oh, Melicanth says she doesn't listen to tales; she tells them."
Does she now? He says, well,
We
Melicanth.
heard this was the finest establishment for telling tales.
Well, you absolutely heard right. Although I am at a loss, I don't recognize the name attached to any tales that have reached these halls, this establishment. But if you're looking to tell a tale, you feel free to. There are going to be 2 other people slotted after Melissa there. He points to the young woman stringing the lute. But afterwards, you are free to do as you wish.
Yes, she is the star diva of the Eternal Tale Weavers, but they don't operate in this area, so I suppose it's as good a time as any to introduce everyone. What? Yeah. Oh, yes. She requires a spot in the corner and for people not to approach her directly.
Well, I have bad news for you, friend. There are no corners in this place. It is, as you can see, completely and utter circular. I laid it out that way specifically because we wanted to make sure everyone be welcome, could be seen. Um, seen and be seen when a tale is being told.
The proprietor will see Ellie or Maleficant. What was it?
Camp.
Maleficamp. She'll be like looking around, but like you can see the bags just dragged in front of her face. And she'll are they near a wall? Because if they are, she'll start feeling it, and then she'll nod at the proprietor.
She thinks it's satisfactory.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, he says, looking at her suspiciously. Well, can I get yourself or Miss Mellencamp a refreshment or something to eat before,
Yes. Oh.
So it's not the right. It's not right. Yeah.
All right. Do you have I'm sorry. She only drinks chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk, he says. That is only on our menus on Saturdays, but tell you what, since this is your first time here and I want you to feel welcome, we'll make an exception. I'll get some prepared.
She smiles and nod.
Al will turn to her and say, like in a low but still audible voice, it's because of your grandeur, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
With this kind of toady-like behavior that Al is displaying, you can see a couple of the nearby, not proprietors, the nearby, what do you call it, customers, kind of give some snickers, and you see one kind of gesture towards you with a thumb, and you hear some laughter at your expense. Just some mutters of like, oh God, check out this one.
Same. That's the artist that she was inspired by, not the actual guy, but
Al licks his hand and uses it to smooth down his hair in the very very like flat greased look.
Wonderful. Well, we'll tell you what, I'll bring over the chocolate milk personally. Feel free to take a seat in the meantime.
Thank you.
Ellie will start to navigate on her own, but if you don't kind of take charge, Al, you guys are gonna just start bumping into tables.
No, he will. He'll take charge.
There's benches, not tables.
Benches, my bad.
He'll even, like, if there's a foot in the way, he'll say, "Excuse me, sir. Mellencamp is coming through."
Well, because of this behavior, no one's gonna sit by you.
Yeah, good.
No one wants to sit.
And I'll even say this: if they don't move their feet, he just steps over it like he didn't have to ask him in the first.
Wow, because a few people do shift because of that, but some people refuse to, and you just step over.
No arguing. We just passively go.
He says it even when there's room. So when they don't move, he'll just go around them.
Okay. All right. You find an expansive area in the eastern section of this circle of benches. Sit maybe midway through or so. Even if there were people around that area, they kind of, get up and move someplace. Like they go up to get something to drink or eat. When they come back, they don't sit in the same place anymore.
Yeah.
But this place is large enough where an individual can have a simple conversation without interrupting the performer. And so the sound in the air, Tom, when you enter about 15 minutes later, is a strange melody of the rumble of conversation and a voice carrying over the crowd. At this point, actually, the speaker, the tale teller, it is not a beautiful song on a ukulele. It is the guttural boasting of an orc who's telling a tale of his hometown, a place, a pit in the ground, which they made into a community of theirs, and the feats of strength that he has done to earn the respect of that town, and so on and so forth. I know.
Oh, does he mention a robot claw?
Maybe.
That's great.
Maybe he does. But is it okay if I move things along narratively speaking? Is there anything you guys want to do beforehand?
No, the toady would just stand there. So he doesn't sit. He stands next to her.
I would request that when you get the chocolate milk, you actually like put it up to her mouth every so often and she'll take a sip.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But they sit there not talking, just like listening to the sounds around them and the guttural.
And once in a while, when she's not looking, he'll sneak a sip out the other side and look very pleased with himself.
So a few minutes before 8 o'clock, sure enough, it's your turn to come up. You were introduced by the proprietor, who now you've been there long enough to definitely hear people call him by name. His name is Bazine and Dale, but most people call him Boz for short. Boz goes up and he says, well, we're going to take a small break in the formal entertainment and open things up to the table. I guess you could say the open court, in which for people to tell their tales and their songs and their knowledge and their experiences. First on the docket, we have a newcomer here to the Companion's Hearth, a performer from the Eternal Storytellers. If I do recall correctly, he looks over to Al.
Eternal Tale Weavers.
Eternal Tale Weavers. My mistake. Miss... Well, I'll have them introduce themselves. You'll get a kick out of this, he says, with a big smile that might be slightly sarcastic, as he leaves the floor open to you. And sure enough,
gosh.
and an area area is set in front of the hearth itself that doesn't have any benches blocking the way. A decent kind of impromptu stage, approximately 10 feet by 10 feet, in which one can maneuver and set up what they need to.
Al would whisper in Ellie's ear and say, "You want to really confuse him? Get on the stage, drop the diva, and just be charming."
She'll nod to this.
Okay.
And then Al will lead her to the stage.
Right. Many of the murmurs fall silent as people watch these two newcomers with curious and bemused expectation.
Ellie will climb up as best she can, maneuver onto the stage, and she'll look around, and people can see that like she'll be like feeling around behind her if there's kind of like bench or something for her to sit down on.
There is no bench.
So like for like 10 seconds, like the people will see her doing that, and she'll look up and say, "Good thing I didn't sit down, otherwise I would have just fallen right on my bum."
You hear a couple chuckles from the front row.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. My name is Miss Mellencamp. It's so nice to meet all of you. It's my first time here, and I must say this place is absolutely gorgeous. And I want to give a special thank you to my beautiful friend here, Bob. She looks over at Al. My best friend, my brother. Well, not literally. You probably can tell, not literally, but he's like a brother, you know. So just wanted to get that out of the way. And
a lot of eyes are just staring at you silently.
Al has mussed his hair up so that instead of the flat greasy, it's now much more volume-esque.
Okay.
And
then he'll take off his guitar and start tuning it or strumming and like getting ready.
You'll
Okay.
see Ellie bobbing her head and like tuning with you. So I guess like for like another like 30 seconds, they're just up there, and Ellie's like, oh, oh. Like,
Okay, with this clear warm-up period, many conversations once again pipe up again and resume as per usual. Oddly, the need to warm up is not seen as peculiar by a lot of the regulars here at the Companion's Hearth.
And I would like to add then, as she hears people starting to talk again, the first like verse, she's just gonna belt it. She's
Okay.
just gonna go in like no building, just full cojones.
Okay. So why don't you guys roll me a performance check
Sure.
for your skills? Mm-hmm.
Well, I was gonna say while we're tuning, Al wants to look over the room to see if he can see someone with a rose. Anything?
No, not yet. No.
All right.
Tom will also be glancing at the door every once in a while.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take note of that.
I succeed by 25.
I'm pretty sure I failed. This will be great.
No, you leveled out considerably. Let's check to see what your performance. percentage is at.
No, I'm at 70% as a singer, so I failed
Okay, so
by 14.
Okay. Remember, how much you succeed or fail by matters. So you said the first verse you belt out. You belted out so loud, actually, you strain your voice a little bit. And the subsequent verses sound a little bit raspier and hoarser than you typically sing.
Hmm.
I think that will rationalize the role very well. Al, on the other hand, you're able to balance out with her pretty well regarding these fluctuations in loudness.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible, like, if once he notices that her voice is strained, maybe he does a bridge, like picks up a bit to give her a moment to recover?
Sure.
All right.
Makes sense to me. And so, if I remember correctly, you're going to be pretty much doing the same tale of what happened with Jasper, the Prince of Greencastle, and Razor, and what truly happened, and that kind of tale, right? Okay,
Mhm.
great.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. So first, I'll describe the audience's reactions, and then I'll go into something else here. So, as you begin to sing, some of the conversations died down a little bit, especially after the first verse was belted out. And despite your peculiar looks and mannerisms so far, you seem to have the attentive ear of at least 70% of the customers, of the folks here at the Companion's Hearth. And people eat slowly and drink as they listen. Midway through the song itself, Tom, since you said you took note of glancing at the door from time to time, your most recent glance at the door, sure enough, you do see someone who definitely perks up your attention. She is a woman, probably in her early to late 20s, perhaps. She has dark black raven hair that's down to her shoulders. She is of an athletic build with slender shoulders, slightly wider hips, a good figure. She's wearing a simple, casual buttoned-up shirt and a pair of brown slacks. She wears boots on her feet, and there seems to be a lot of mud caked on the boots, as if she's been walking in them for quite some time and hasn't had a chance to clean them. What's very prominent is underneath her dark green eyes, is on her left cheek, is that of a crimson-colored rose. Its petals in full bloom. And attached to the rose, of course, is a stem. And the stem goes down to the side of her neck and disappears underneath her neckline. You can see, since the shirt that she's wearing is relatively short, it goes up to her elbow. Along her left forearm, you can see the vine continues on halfway up the forearm. until the vine itself, or sorry, the stem itself ends. And on the end of the stems are, sure enough, like actual roses, thorns that are also tattooed onto them as well. She takes a look around, and she heads over to Baz towards where he is conversing with others.
Mhm.
You can see her greet and talk with them. They seem, both their body language seems relaxed, like they've known and they've talked with each other for quite some time. He offers her something to eat. She grabs a mug of something and a small plate of little strips of chicken. And she sits down on, as I mentioned before, the it's in circles around the hearth, right? She sits on the outermost circle on the bench, on the benches. She's about 30 feet away from you or so.
Okay.
As she begins to eat and drink and listen to this tale that Al and Mila are singing.
Okay. What I am going to want to do is, after Tom finishes up eating, which he probably would have gotten something to eat and drink.
Sure.
Please let me know if that cost any credits.
Take
or anything.
away 20 credits.
Okay.
Oh, of course. Yeah, 20 credits.
20 credits taken away. And after he's done, he's going to take the plate and the mug back over to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Baz,
he's
yep.
going to go over and sit near her.
How near?
Right next to her, but kind of leaving some space so he's not a creep.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. As you go to sit down, she'll kind of glance over you with her deep green eyes and take a look at you from top to bottom, and she'll give a polite smile, as strangers typically do when they meet each other.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, after another glance, she'll turn her attention back towards the presenters.
Okay. I think I will wait until the entertainment is done.
Okay. So is the plan to still incorporate that phrase of the story that was found on the notice wall at the front of New Lazlo, or has that changed?
No,
No,
that
that's
would
still the plan.
that's the last verse.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, say you sang the last verse. The last verse completes. And Tom, would it be fair to say that you're glancing at her during this time?
Oh, yes, with a big, huge smile.
Well, she doesn't notice the smile because her eyes are fixed on the two performers. You notice that her eyes widen slightly, and her mouth purses a little bit. And then you can see her brows kind of furrow in contemplation. When the set completes, as is customary, everyone puts aside what they're eating or drinking, if they're doing that at all. And, they clap. There's applause. And applause does fill the room itself. And you do quite a pleasant job. And in fact, after you're done, Baz will come over to you and he says, I can see why you were seen as such an esteemed member of the Endless Tale Weavers. The Eternal Tale Weavers. My mistake. Please, you are welcome again to sing and tell tales here whenever you wish. It was a surprising treat.
She says that she only performs any one place once, but you never know in the future, right?
Yes, of course. Well, there's always a change to policy.
All right. Yeah.
Tom, you can see... Oh, sorry.
He just goes, oh, and looks crestfallen when she says that.
That's cute. That's funny.
Mhm.
Tom, you notice that this lady with the rose tattooed on her cheek, her eyes scan over towards the two there, and she leans over to you and she says, "They stole that last line. That's not original. They read that somewhere."
Oh, yeah. I know. I read it too.
Oh.
Mhm.
Okay, she says.
Yes. Tells a sort of tale about meeting a person here with a rose, if I recall correctly. I mean, I could be wrong. It was
I
kind
think
of
you're wrong.
It was kind of interpreted to me. A long time ago, a long time away.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of gives a small quizzical smile. She says, and
I was wondering if I could maybe meet somebody that you might know and ask her a few questions because I have information for her.
I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not the person I'm supposed to meet. So until you are, or until he or she shows up, I won't say a damn thing.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It is, I suppose.
I know.
If I knew what you were talking about. She
Yeah.
kind of gives a little half smile.
Because my friend, he's actually quite alarmed that his little sister would be somewhere not at home where she's safe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a real concern, she says. I have concerns as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have concerns that people say they know friends of mine. They say they know family members of mine or of my friends. They tell us to meet them at some place, and we do that. And we get ambushed, and one of my friends get nearly killed.
Wait,
Those are rough times.
Has that happened?
No, she says, you're talking about your concerns, she says with a knowing smile, and I'm just talking about my concerns.
Oh, God. Okay,
Since we're just two strangers talking about our concerns.
That's true.
So, since we understand each of our concerns, you'll understand why I won't say anything, I don't know anything, until I see the right person. Until I'm supposed to. And I know exactly who I'm supposed to meet.
Hmm.
And it's not you. So I'm
No,
sorry.
I know it's not me. Well, I hope you can have a good night.
You too.
And Tom will get up and move over to where he was
As
before.
you get up, she says, there's no money in this, by the way. So whatever scheme you have going, whatever hopes for a reward that you might have figured out, just go off and try to con in someone else. There's no money.
Tom will stop as he's getting up, and he will shake his head. I just want to reunite a brother and sister. That's all.
Well, then bring him here.
Tom will walk off.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna meet at the library, or
Yeah,
Sure.
I think we meet at
We're
the
just
library.
outside of it.
yeah?
Yeah. Well, guys,
Yeah.
they will not meet with anybody other than Al.
That's
And
gonna be kind of difficult.
I'm pretty sure they're expecting him to be human.
Yeah, that's gonna be extremely difficult. They already met the
boy.
man, didn't they? The legend, right?
But they are being very careful. Actually, as careful as we are. So that's
Ah.
interesting.
That sounds about right. If you're dealing with someone related to this guy, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All
a
right.
bit of an Aussie accent now.
So
Yeah.
here's the
Changing.
issue. We either have two options. Option one, we try and follow her back, which has so many ways of biting us.
I have a feeling that she can defend herself. That would be
Yeah.
dangerous.
Well, yeah. Option number two, I take the hairpin.
I was actually just about to suggest that. It was gonna be
Yeah.
super dangerous.
Well,
Because here's the thing, it only masks your face. Your body is still going to be elfin. Your shoulders are smaller than Al's.
Hmm.
You're slightly taller than Al was.
Yeah.
Your hand will not
Mhm.
have a bionic hand to it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's true.
This is a lot more complicated than we thought.
Yeah.
Consequences, my friend.
Oh yes,
Mm.
consequences.
It's great. I love it. There's a way around this. There always is. But I love it when things come full circle.
Bit of a tricky one.
What?
What? You can't do that. I can't see anything. I don't know if you're cat of revelation or you see a spider on my shoulder.
By the way,
No,
Patrick,
no.
you're here too.
Tom will
obviously.
reach out and brush
Whoa.
Ellie's shoulder.
She'll give you a nod.
Maybe I could write a note to her.
You can leave one on the thing.
Or just
You what-
hand it to Rose.
She'll probably destroy it.
Why? She can read it. She'll know that there's nothing really untoward toward it. If she knows the code, she'll know exactly what it says.
Yeah, but she knows that it's not the person, a person other than the person
Here's the
she's
thing.
waiting for.
Here's the
is
thing.
giving
She
her a
can't
note.
be completely unrelenting because if she's doing it, why wouldn't we? If Jaleea's not looking for herself, why in the world would Al take the same risk? We just have to be more convincing in the sense of, yeah, you know what? She's not coming out here because it's dangerous. What a surprise. You know? Why do you think Al's going to do exactly what you think's too dangerous for her to do? Here's a message. Take it to her. If you think it's too dangerous for Jalea to be out here showing her face, why in the world do you think Al would do it?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have you approach her tomorrow and do that.
You know what? Actually, yeah. And then I could just ask
Or-
myself, and I could give information that
Or-
only Al would know. Yeah.
Another option could be I approach her again and just say a mutual friend gave this to me.
Or both of us.
Yeah.
Why not?
Or
both
all
of us?
three of us.
Or all three of
God.
us. Well, yeah. Yeah. Same
Like
They're
fi-
different.
That's because this is just, I love mumbling. And having you have to interpret what I'm saying.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Here's a way we could go about this. We could lay out our fears. We're not willing to come open right now because, pure and simply, we can't guarantee that you don't have a coalition spy among your group or something like that. Prove it to us, and we'll come out.
That's going to be one hell of a poem that you make.
I know, but I mean, like, but at the very least, we can just show up and say, "Look, I get it. It's dangerous, but
Yeah.
it's more
But
dangerous
we can't,
for Al.
we can't say that out loud. We have to be cryptic because this is
We
a
have
to say
crowded
this
place.
Well,
On
of course.
behalf of a friend.
Yeah, but yeah, I say we approach her again the next night. The three of us can do it.
Yeah, I could do the talking.
Patrick, I'm
and
sorry,
say-
Patrick.
Hi,
Yes,
I'm Patrick.
He's getting plenty of. First of all, he solved a man's bad breath this session.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Secondly, he gets all sorts of library time, which will later be able to rationalize a lot of his lore checks, which is, you learned this in the library.
Yeah, there we go.
I love books.
Learning is rad.
Yeah, actually, I think Ellie would go up to Patrick and be like, "So, Patrick, what exactly did you read? What kind of books you read?"
I just asked the librarian what her favorite novel was, and I kind of read that.
Oh.
Allie, I have a question.
What?
You may or may not know this, but
What is it?
you have the ability to peer into people's thoughts, right?
Yeah, I can do.
Is there a way to transfer the image, a way to allow Jalea to see my thoughts?
Yes, no, not really. I wouldn't do it anyway. I don't really like messing with people's heads. Not really my
Well,
thing.
I
Maybe.
mean, if it was consensual, I don't know how else to convince her I'm me.
Consensual, yes. I can only transfer a message. Really, is about the best I can do. Give a message there.
Yeah, like words.
Yeah, she need to be nearby too. I can't do it if she's not here. Yeah,
No,
I have to be able to see her. Yeah, so
That
it was
won't
a bit of a problem. I could do it to the rose variety, see if that helps. But not really. No.
All right. Well, let's meet Rose tomorrow night and see where we go from there.
Okay. We can speed ahead to that night if you like.
Do it.
Boom.
Are you gonna be wearing? Yeah, you're gonna be wearing the same.
Oh yeah. Same thing.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll go back to the bar, I guess.
All right. You head back to the companion's hearth. Tonight is a little bit busier than the night previously, and you are welcomed with warmth by Baz, the proprietor. Mm-hmm.
I'm
What?
sorry. Can I do something? I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
What?
Al's gonna go back to the ship during the day and grab his hand.
You burnt it. Oh, wait, no, you smashed it.
No, he
I
smashed it.
and kept it.
Mhm.
But I kept it, so I have this. I still have it. It's just broken.
It's kind of twisted up if I remember.
I don't know if
too.
that's maybe the best message we want to send, but
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
not the best.
Whoa. Here's the thing. We have to start letting her know that Al is not what he used to be. And we say this is from her brother.
Why
He's
don't we
fine.
bridge? Why don't we create
down
a
an arm.
communication bridge before we actually show
all
her
right.
parts of her brother?
Mm.
How about we
all
do
right.
that? You know what?
Fair.
This is your brother's pinky. He's okay though. Like what?
He has no arm.
This
He's
is his
fine.
arm. Don't worry, he's fine.
Good point.
He's just
Come on.
Trust
Let's
us, right?
get to the level where we can just talk first.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay, so never mind.
Yes.
Forget all I just said.
All right.
Jesus.
All right, so I'm good to continue on.
Yes.
The idea, I get the idea. Like, I get it, but like,
No,
Yeah.
I kind of missed a
It's a good laugh.
small point there.
yeah.
Okay, all right. So, as I mentioned before, it's a little bit busier than before, and when the diva enters, you see a few people kind of whisper to others, and with your heightened hearing, Mila, you can hear be like, "Oh yeah, her, she's weird, but she sang a good song. It's told a good tale yesterday. Maybe she'll do this again today. You'll see. But look at that toady with her. What a kiss ass." I wonder if they bang.
Oh no.
And so on and so forth.
No.
Gossipy stuff, all that silliness.
Mhm.
But let's get to the meat of the reason. The three of you, once again, wait. And sure enough, a few minutes after 8 o'clock, she's dressed in a different shirt, but the slacks and the boots are the same. The woman with the rose on her left cheek. Once again, although it's not the exact same place that she sat before, she does once again sit on the outer layer of the ring of benches and waits and listens. This time she isn't eating anything.
Okay.
Go ahead, Patrick.
So I just wanted to know before it's too late
Uh-huh.
that he did spend an hour of this day with the man studying
Yes.
language.
Mm.
Okay.
That sounds
Yeah,
fantastic.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think, great. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Since we passed an entire day, it makes complete sense. Okay. Of course, there'll be miscellaneous stuff, too, that you guys might want to have done in the meantime that we can talk about, in the future.
Mhm.
But, yeah. She looks around, she scans, and she notices Tom again, and she notices the other two. And she does take glances at you, but she's not staring. She's not making things conspicuous.
Tom will head over and sit next to her again.
She gives another polite, thin smile, as one would give to a stranger. A little nod. She turns her head back, listening.
I need
Unfortunately,
you to make the first move, Al.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. Al would have led Ellie over and sat down with Tom,
Mhm.
and he would have said, "Hello. I don't believe we've met. I'm
Name's
Bob."
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, I know. I was
no.
hesitating.
Tom will say, Bob. Your name is Bob.
Okay. So you all know each other. I put that together yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Good to meet you, Bob. She
Well,
says pleasantly.
Right. Are you familiar with a friend of ours? You seem to have a rose from what I hear on your person.
I don't know, she says. I know a lot of people.
Right, you're being very cryptic. Let's try this again. Do you know and then what's your sister's name again? Because I know you've said
Julia.
Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know Julia?
Julia? No.
You don't. Right.
It's Julia.
Julia. It was some of the accent, yeah. Julia. Sorry. She knows a friend of mine who used to work for some a service, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But
She says, you sound like you're talking pretty cryptic as well.
You're right, I have to, because you're being bloody cryptic to me, you know? Like, if we're going to be honest, I just want to know if you know this woman or not. You don't have to be like, oh yeah, I know her, she and I are best friends, or you could just be like, oh my. Like, if we're going to be cryptic, you can be as cryptic as you can, but I need to take out of the whole situation you do, in fact, know or do not know.
Melican.
Calm
It's
down.
okay.
Sorry.
Look,
Jeez.
her eyebrows raise at all this, but she doesn't say anything yet.
Look, we understand where you're coming from,
No,
but you have to understand.
Yeah, I guess we do, but you know, you don't know what we know, and we don't know what you know, so you can't make that kind of assessment now, can you? I wish you guys could like sense when Ellie's eyes are just converging underneath the wig.
Oh no, I can sense it.
You chose to wear that hairdo.
Yeah.
You live with it.
Al would pause and he would say, "You are being careful because it is dangerous. That applies double for the man you're seeking, given how wanted he is. You can't expect him to just show his face in public. That doesn't mean he's not concerned."
She says, "This is New Laszlo, a free community.
Oh
Are you telling me that he's wanted here?"
yeah.
I'm telling you
Yep.
Look,
that the
Eyes everywhere.
coalition. I'm telling you, the coalition has chased him far further than this.
plus it didn't help us last time either.
The coalition chases a lot of people for a lot of reasons.
Right.
I'm sorry. I feel like I should be asking, and they want him badly.
I'm sorry, she says. I need to see him. It's of the utmost importance, and I only believe with what my own eyes see. It's just
Then
that simple. He'll have to
speak-
take the risk. If the person that we're talking about, that we both think we know that we're talking about, he'll risk it.
He
For her.
can't.
He already has.
Tell,
Then he's not her brother.
tell Jellybean it's not possible the way she wants it.
No, she says.
Why not?
Then she will never find him, because
guess
things
not.
aren't the way she thinks they are. You don't
not.
understand.
You're right. Stubborn one, aren't you?
She says,
Why can't you
I-
deliver one simple message? You tell me.
because...
A message.
No.
But
She
the
says,
only-
first of all, you're probably going to track me after this, so it's regardless.
Did we do that last night? You tell me. Did we
I don't
do
know.
that? Are we
Maybe.
exactly? Do we seem to blend in? Do we look like we're blended in? Can't you see we're screaming on the top of our lungs for people to notice us in order to find you? Why do you think we're going through this whole charade? That we're doing it because we think this is it is kind of fun to be on stage, but we're doing it so we're noticed. We're not trying to be sneaky.
You know, she also has that big, huge bow.
I got a pretty big bow on my head.
We had to actually make that from scratch. I had to sacrifice a
She
pillowcase for
rolls
that.
her eyes and she says, even if I know what you're talking about and I don't,
Mhm.
let me throw in another hypothetical for you. Say that you're the only person who is responsible for her safekeeping, of your friend, of someone that you're devoted to, someone that you care about very deeply. You're not going to take unnecessary risks for her, or him, or whomever.
Well, if you're going by your logic, no matter what, she's in
No,
danger.
it's not no matter what.
Yeah,
We,
no, it
we
Your
is.
have
logic
we
doesn't
have
work,
taken-
though.
We have taken steps to ensure the utmost safety, to ensure that the mistakes we made in the past do not happen again. And passing on cryptic messages and dealing with people who say they know people, who give off little bits of information, is not one of them.
Listen, can I just say something? Right?
It's
The
a
only-
free state.
The only reason why we know that, well, first of all, it's sort of a happen chance that we stumbled here. First, we came from, Parents' Post, and that's how we first heard about you. Oh, Patrick. But the thing is, right? The thing is, what your sister wants just can't happen because her brother has changed, right? And if you can't deliver that message, a message that will bring no harm to her, like literally, there's nothing we can do. Like you can tell her, "Oh, I talked to a foot tonight." We won't be able to tell the difference. Who cares? Just tell her, give her the bloody message, let her
The
know.
point is, he doesn't look like he used to. So what you're asking for is impossible.
No, it's not, she says.
Okay, make
If
it not
it's still
impossible.
him, I'll know.
No, you won't.
No, you won't.
I guarantee you will not.
Then you'll have to convince me. Because not a single word, not a single speck, not a single foot is going to be stepped in her presence until I'm entirely 100% convinced.
Wait, so
Okay.
you're not gonna go see her after this, are you?
I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Oh, for goodness sake, I'm getting tired of this I don't know business.
Okay, well then, let's play that game. How do we convince you?
How will you know specifically that he is here?
He doesn't look the same. How could we possibly
Yeah,
convince?
you're not
I
gonna be
can
able
think
to
of
see
two
him.
ways.
Okay.
One short but uncomfortable. What's long but it provides less intervention.
What's the short and uncomfortable way?
There are psychics here in New Laszlo. One of them I know. One of them can read minds completely, merge minds with others. He reads the mind of you or whomever. Then he imparts that knowledge onto me.
Yeah, that sounds
Then
easy
I'll know
enough.
for sure.
Okay, then I'll make you a deal. You go through the same process to guarantee that you are not attached to the Coalition, not a spy for them, not working for them, and I will let you do the same to me. And I promise you, you'll find it worth it.
No, she says, that's not going to work, and I'll tell you why. Is because I'm not the one trying to convince you. You're the one who's trying to convince me. And I have personal things in my life I don't want anyone to know. So they're not going to.
It's a bloody double standard right there.
Well, too
You-
bad, she says, because I'm the gatekeeper, not you. If it was the other way around, maybe I'd play by your rules. but
If you
these are
care
mine.
about her so much, then let her see her brother. You're the only thing standing in the way.
Exactly. I'm the only thing standing away
So
from
you don't care
con
about her.
artists and thieves and
I'm
spies
letting you read
and
my mind.
murderers and mercenaries.
You are hiding from. If you are not part of
Guys.
the Coalition, that's all he
Guys.
needs to tell me.
Shh. People are starting to look.
Okay.
Calm
They are.
down.
Look, you can keep your secrets. I just need to know you're not working with the Coalition.
She
They
pauses
want
for a moment and
him
she says,
dead.
wait. Let me tell you the long way, and then let me give you the proof I can that I'm not with the Coalition. The long way of us doing this is that no one reads anyone's minds. It's a big fucking deal, you understand.
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I'm not talking about this guy reads a couple of surface thoughts. I mean, every skill that you have, every memory that you had, every person that you loved, every secret, every code is put into his head. Everything. And I'm surprised that you're so willing to give all that up. But you have to understand why I'm not crazy about it. Especially since you could be working for the coalition yourself, and then I would have given you everything. Don't you see?
Not
So
anymore.
the long way of doing this is that I decide for myself. I'm around you, we talk, we converse, we travel, we do what's needed. And when I am utterly convinced, by your actions, by your deeds, by the proof that you give me, that wherever he is who he is, then I'll let you know how to contact her. But until then, that knowledge stays within my head. You will not torture it from me. You will not get it from me any other way. Which also is a reason why I'm not so keen on letting you mind merge with me and letting know the knowledge. Because in this head, I know exactly where she is and what she's doing right now, this very moment. You get that? You don't need me anymore, do you?
You know, she kind of has a point.
But
So,
she's still keeping the double standard. She wants to travel with us, learn all our secrets, learn where everything is, but she wants to give none in return.
well,
She can travel with us, just not with Big Brother.
she says you'll learn things about me as we travel. People always do so.
But
Anyway,
Put
we'll
it all
learn.
on- Sorry.
No, that's fine. She says, but once again, it doesn't matter. It's a double standard. She says, I understand it's a double standard, but this is not an equal proposition, and you're not going to get one. You say you're one thing, and we are going to be far too careful. I need proof. So, we either do it that way, or the man himself sits next to me, and he shows me. I know exactly what he looks like. You're not going to fool me. Even if he changed his face, there are other ways to tell.
Right.
You
Sorry.
don't understand at all.
Well, too bad. And here's the other thing, she says. It doesn't matter, it's a double standard. Because, well, let's cut the crap here. We know it's between the brother and the sister. And if the brother loves his sister enough, he'll do anything to find her.
It's kind of what I'm afraid of.
yes.
Ellie, you can't see it, but her eyes glance over towards Al's
Tom is
direction.
staring at Al. Yes. I'm concerned about that.
But it's also his decision. If he were here, what do you think he would say, Bob?
I know what I would say.
Bottle.
I would say let's just go back home.
But
Because it's pretty
it
risky.
doesn't matter what you say. What do you think, Bob?
Al's quiet because Al's trying to figure out what to do.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
What-
Answer.
I know, no, this is in character. I know
Oh.
him personally. I know this brother personally. I saw the procedure that he went through to change. If we were to do my mind, would you be okay with that?
It would be a one-way thing, you know.
I know. Let's get this over with.
Are you sure about this?
Al looks at Tom.
That's fine.
Are you...
This is just as risky, you know.
I know. But I'd do anything for him. He saved my life several times. So he'll get up.
Al's
this
trying
guy?
not to tear up. Al says, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back.
Well, actually, we'll probably wrap things up. It's pretty soon here. We'll
Yeah.
wait a couple of minutes for you to come back.
Yeah, I'll be
Unless...
right back.
All right. Because I don't think we'll do the mind merge thing right away this session. Things are kind of getting close to my sleepy sleep time anyway, so.
Time.
No problem.
Yeah.
Besides, she hasn't even given me an answer yet. But I'll wait for Squee to come back before she gives you an answer.
Oh God, I'm sorry. So how's everyone doing?
Good.
I love books.
I'm sorry,
Sorry,
but
More about that.
I just love the idea of, even if she's probably not somebody we can trust, even if she is probably coalition, she will see everything that happened in Tom's life through his eyes. And I love that aspect. I love that idea. Especially
It'll
the
make
coalition
things
coming
interesting.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, back.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Welcome.
So she pauses for a moment as you surrender that information. She says, her face softens at this, and she kind of looks away for a moment, and she says, it's easy to say this, but it's everything, you know. Everything in your head I'll learn now. I won't know it forever. For the longest time, I've been told that one brain can't handle the memories and everything of others, and it fades in a matter of hours, maybe. But for that time, I'll know everything about you.
I
And so
understand.
will the psychic.
Yeah.
You're still willing to do that?
Wholeheartedly. Like I said, I owe my life.
Well, she says, 7 times people have approached me about this. Not a single one accepted my proposition. So you have a deal. You're better than most already. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
She sighs, and she says, it'd be a whole lot better if I could see him, though. A whole lot better for everyone altogether.
Right.
Trust me.
Not much of an option. You'll know
it's
why,
not
I
an
guess.
option. You'll understand.
She pauses for a moment, and as she gets up, she crosses her arm before she departs, and she says, we'll meet here again. Different time, though. 6 o'clock. And I'll take you to the fellow I know. Before I go, though,
Mm-hmm.
you seem all very certain in the things that you've said already. Maybe we can save ourselves a bunch of time. Is he dead?
No.
He's actually more alive than he's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
She smirks and she looks over to Ellie and says, now who's being cryptic? And with that, she'll depart.
Al looks around. I wasn't being cryptic.
It was pretty cryptic. Oh God, I'm gonna give that one to her. She's a bit of a bitch, but she was right about that. You were pretty cryptic with that one.
Al would look at Tom and say, are you sure?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I guess.
Al would actually...
Are you sure? Makes a noise that implies uncertainty.
Look, what other choice do we
Al-
have? You go through with it?
Al would hug Tom.
Are we having a group hug? Because I can feel you guys hugging.
Al would pull her into the hug.
Come on, let's go meet Patrick.
Hugs his books.
Yeah.
Oh, please go do me, Patrick.
I was gonna say let's go meet Patrick and then we can hug.
Okay. All right.
Why
We're
are
back
we
up to Patrick.
hugging?
Just, I like to think of like a quick shot, like if this is a movie, like a quick cut of just you all hugging Patrick outside the library, and he's like, "Why are we hugging now?"
Patrick, because we're family. Family's most important.
Yeah, what happened though?
It's all right, Patrick. Don't ask any more questions.
don't like this.
She hugs you tighter.
Are you gonna tell Patrick what happened?
Yeah.
Al would let him know what happened.
No. It's a mystery.
Patrick
Forever.
looks over to Tom.
What?
Okay, I can fix this. You just want to know. You just want to show her that you're Al, right?
Yes.
Wait, no.
No.
She yes, that I'm Al.
Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
How?
So, I was thinking about different ways of trying to find your sister through magical means, and I have a particular spell that seeks a very specific person, saying their name or whatnot, and I get to
Oh.
send it directly to that person.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Oh.
So,
Well, that's
Why didn't
another
you
way.
say something sooner?
well, I think I need to actually I have to read it a bit. I have to look into it a bit more, but I think I might have need to at least met her once. Except, I can definitely say that I've met Al.
You
And
can
show
just
her
cast the
that.
spell and watch that it goes straight to me. In fact, we could even use a third-party magician she would trust.
That is true.
Two. Reading his mind would mean showing them that we have a spaceship.
Yeah, that's
right,
true.
That's,
Yeah.
That is
that's
very
my
true.
thought, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of a concerning one.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's
I thought
still
it was neat.
beautiful. No, I thought it's beautiful that you want to do it for your friend, but
It's a
You know.
noble gesture.
it's
There's
beautiful.
a reason why Blink likes you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
What
and
God
Al
said.
was very touched by it.
Yeah, Al's probably going to ask you out on a date now.
oh god, no.
Probably not.
Like,
I think I love the idea. We might need to find someone else to cast it only because she wouldn't trust Patrick. You know
But
what I mean?
then that caster would have to know who Al is.
yeah,
Well, he
that's
would
right.
meet
Yeah.
him.
But-
Oh well, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Then she'll just be like, yeah, you just met
Oh,
this alpha
wait,
cult.
wait,
Whatever.
Wait, but here's the thing: we can give her a little info. She would know, hopefully, that Patrick's one of the wanted, one of the friends of Al.
Yeah, that's true.
So she might trust that.
Maybe.
And worst comes to worst, teach Al the spell, and he'll go find his sister.
I mean,
Remember,
yeah,
the bird goes really fast.
He does go really fast.
like 40
Yeah.
miles an hour or something.
But then has to deliver a message.
Hi.
Whoa.
Oh.
But yeah, but that's still, it's worth a shot. Like, this is Patrick. You know who he is from the wanted posters, huh? This is his good side. Here's Al.
Yeah, just hold up a wanted poster next to Patrick.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap things up here, though. But you guys can continue to talk about it outside of session, of course.
I should probably be getting to
But
bed
we will
soon.
we shall officially end the session now. Stay tuned next week for the thrilling continuation of this new awesomeness.
Yes.
This is cool.
All right. See you guys next week. And don't forget,
Bye.
we'll probably stream 3 Galaxies on Wednesday. See you guys there.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.